Christianity and Easter Decoded. Next month is Easter, but I couldn't wait to do this when I wanted to go on, you know what I'm saying, drop this for the people. And I'm going to also be talking a lot about Easter as we move into April, which will be Easter, I think, on the 20th of April. Now, Easter, now I can pull this up so I can be clear here. I don't want to lead you wrong, but Easter is determined by the full moon. That's the first full, hold on, let me see. Hold on. Because I didn't even think about this part. But Easter is determined by the first full moon after the spring equinox. But I knew it was either the first full moon or something like that, some with a full moon. So there you go. Easter is what they call a what is it? A roaming feast, a movable feast. Some people say roaming. But if you never heard those two words, movable feast, I'll go over it real quick. Easter is called a movable feast because it don't have a set date. And it basically falls on the first full moon after every spring equinox. So I want to talk about this real quick because to me, the full moon represents the woman's egg and fertility. Drop a one if you kind of deep and you study symbolism and you've already cracked that little code. I know that ain't even a big one right there, that we know that if you study moon goddesses, if you study matriarchal systems, you will know that the full moon is like, that is like dedicated to the female and her egg and the menstrual cycle. So people, I want to make some connections today because I'm a syncretist, right? And I'll be camming up shortly, but I will speak to everybody. Let's speak to everybody and we'll cam back up again shortly. We're going to make a lot of connections today. Welcome back, guys. We back and we finna get it in, so like and share the video. Easter, we got to start with the small connections, right? But these are pretty big. Jesus was covered in blood, which represents the woman's menstrual cycle as well. Understand that. Because what does Jesus represent? Cleansing with the blood. What does the woman menstrual blood represent? The sacred womb being cleansed. Come on, we finna make some connections. That's right. Let's make the connections today, baby. Do you want to know the truth about Easter and how it connects with the divine feminine and the females? Because y'all know that we originate from matriarchal cultures before it became a dude telling you about all these being born agains and all of these holidays surrounded by a dude. Okay. We resurrect through the egg of the woman. But everything about Easter was the worship of the woman and dealing with childbirth. And I'm going to break that down to you why Easter is about resurrection. Because your birth in this realm ain't your first time. You have many previous lifetimes, and each soul comes into this earth had a previous lifetime and experience. Every soul in this realm is a resurrected deity. Only the sentient ones, because you do got non-player characters. Let's give a shout out to Dolph Obama for that first super chat of today. Thank you. Come on in, everybody. Welcome to the show. Come on in. We about to cam up in just a second. The full moon, people, represents the female's egg. The full moon represents a cleansing cycle on earth. People people clench their stones under the full moon. Come on now, tell me if you think I'm making something up now. I know what I'm talking about now.
That's right.
The full moon is linked to cleansing, renewal, and that's what Christ represents. We say that we cover ourselves in the blood of Christ to be cleansed, but the truth is that when you was born in this realm, you had a brand new chance to right all of your wrongs and become a better person from your previous lifetime. Jesus said, I come to make all things new again. Don't you know that's the womb of your mother? So what are we going to talk about today? Let's get into the womb. Let's get into sacred feminine real quick, and let me pull something up here real quick. Women gonna love this stream today. Said women will love this stream today. All right. I found what I'm looking for. Let's talk about Christ, which is really the word crease. Why is that, though? Because that thing in between that woman's leg is a split, a crease, a gap, a box. Well, you know, we call it all that. Let's do it now, guys. Here is the female reproductive system. Here is the thing that gives birth, is we're born again through it. The females were called divas in Hindu, and that became devil in this patriarchal, far-right, papacy world that we live in, dominated by white males who had a disdain for the woman. So that they made it all of the souls be resurrected through this man. And instead of us worshiping the womb, what the patriarchs did, they transformed the womb into a man. But I make collages like this so you can see the transformation with your own eyes. Drop a one if you can appreciate that, because a lot of people don't even appreciate this. I make collages like this so you can see how the woman was desecrated, how the womb was turned into a monster and a boogeyman. The word hell originally meant that a baby was held inside of the belly of their mama. Yes, this wasn't no spooky satanic stuff now. This was about the women and that thing in between their legs that allow life to be on this earth right now. Now let's talk about some about this full moon thing. Because a full moon is representative of the Easter energy, as you can see why we even celebrate Easter. When we celebrate it is after that first full moon of that equinox now. All right. The spring equinox. Why? Because spring is fertility, people. Drop a one if your flower was starting to come back. You starting to see your lawn get a little green. Little bit of leaf or two here popping up on the tree. Life is about the spring back like it never left. It's amazing how we plant these beautiful flowers. And then when the winter comes, it's just a little stick. And then when the spring come back, that little stick is full of all these little life. Each one a little flower connected to the tree, which we call the stick or the stem, which I'm going to work my way into some real deep when we talk about Easter on a whole nother level when it's dealing with the simulation and all that. Don't go nowhere. Stay with me. Stay with me. So check this out, right? When we talk about Exodus, that is when all of these, just think of a tree like I just said, right? You have a tree in your yard full of leaves. But when the fall come, that tree is empty. Ain't no leaves on that tree. The fall represent the fall of man. Now we're going to talk about Easter eggs, because during Easter time, we break an egg and we eat it. That symbolizes resurrection. Now, Humpty Dumpty was an egg that was broken, and that was another form of the Easter folklore that I'm about to teach you now about resurrection. So listen, every time I'm showing you a tree of life right now, in the middle of the earth, there's a tree. And it's got human lives on it. You're one of the people sleep on that tree, like Neo in the Matrix. Okay, we all remember Neo in the Matrix. I'm gonna take my time with this. Neo in the Matrix was asleep. He was connected to a tree. So Christmas ornaments are Easter eggs. And that God that you see right there is personifying the Christmas tree. That God that you see in the bottom left corner, his name is Ishtar, where we get the word Easter. And I'm about to blend Easter with Christmas right now. Because these little balls that you see on this God right here, you see this God? All of these little bubbles, breasts, because there are two things, right? They're breasts and they're eggs. So what is the name of God? The breasted one. Let's talk about this deity. Who are we worshiping during Easter? Well, let me show you something. In the Bible, right? The meaning of the name El Shaddai is God, the breasted one. Let's play that. Let's show that. El Shaddai, God, the breasted one. Why would a man have a bunch of breasts? You hear me? What does it mean to be El Shaddai, God, the breasted one? The breasted one, people. It is different than a woman with boobs. Remember that the Baphomet got boobs too. So we're worshiping the Baphomet, the earth god, demigod that have our souls at the North Pole. They call him Santa, Satan. And for you to break free of a genie out the lamp, you break through this egg like Neo in the movie and you resurrect as a different version of yourself. Remember what they told Neo? They said you never opened your eyes before. Remember when they bust your mama fetal bag and you opened up your eyes and started crying? Well, you got another birth coming. Your final birth ain't gonna be you busting out of your mother's fetus bag. It's gonna be out of you busting out of the simulation itself, would mean you never had a mother. Your mother never had a mother. All of us are God and goddesses that went into a simulation, and your parents signed up to be your guardians within this thing. So there must be some kind of spiritual hierarchy beyond the veil on the other side. And that turns into mama, daddy, grandma, and all that within the simulation. But really, you're a soul and you ain't got an age to you. You don't have an age. So for you to say your grandma is older than you, no. What the truth is that she went before you. And what that means is she entered the matrix before you. We all are equal God, same age in the base reality. That's infinity. But some of these gods go into the simulation before others. This what creates the hierarchy on as far as the aging process. It's who went first and who left, all that. You know what I'm saying? So, but check this out, right? When you see Neo breaking out of his little pod, that pod is an egg, and breaking the egg is for resurrection. And that right here, you can see why we say Easter eggs is for resurrection when we break them. Because Neo here is leaving his ark just like Noah after the flood, which was when the mama fetal bag was flooded with the life force serum to bring forth life. The baby, think about this, the mama floods her fetal bag. And the baby survives the flood via the arch. All of this is the biology of the pregnant mother. They turned it into religion and folklore. But this story of the biological process of how life enters the earth is also echoing itself in the base reality, showing you how the technology is made. The mother's fetal bag is us reverse engineering your pod. Okay? Everything in the physical realm is reverse engineered from the heavenly realm here. So let's go back and walk this word down. This is all dealing with the woman, which is why the word Easter comes from the word oester. And the word estrogen has the word or estre. You can do your etymology. Maybe we'll get the whiteboard out, but I don't think we need it. The word Easter comes from the word eostra, and that's where we say estrogen or the astral realm or the astral plane is all got something to do with the sacred womb on how we access that, and that is through the womb, the stargate. So you will see a lot of words that's related to the female when we deal with these holidays. So another thing we want to pay attention to with Easter, oester, aster, all of that. See, because when we're saying Easter, right? We're saying east. It ain't dealing with east and west. It's dealing with in and out, the interior and the exterior. Let me show you what I'm talking about. But the word Easter, breaking an egg, is also biting an apple. When we bit the apple, we was kicked out of the interior, which is Eden, the center of the earth. When we bit the apple, we went into our matrix part. Biting the apple is when you walked up to the tree of life and you opened up your empty pod and you got inside of it, man. You bit the apple and it got you kicked out of Eden. Your sleeping body is still in Eden right now, but it's sleep because you went inside of that bitten apple. You know how a worm lives inside of an apple that it was eating on? See? The broken egg is the bitten apple. It's the same story, y'all. The story, right? The story of how we left the interior and entered the exterior is summed up in Esther, Easter. Easter is dealing with the word exter, which is exterior, extermination. Because what's going on here, we can't die, we can only multiply, which means we can create different false versions of ourselves that'll make us have to die more deaths, more cycles of death and reincarnation. Easter is dealing with reincarnation because reincarnation is a cycle that we're trying to escape. And that's why we break the egg. We open up the Pokemon ball to free the little monster. Exterior, Easter. Check this out, right? El Shaddai is God, the breasted one, right? Why does God have breasts? Again, Jesus is another form of this God. And this is basically these Babel towers. How can a man give birth through a simulation? That's the false birth. So you got the divine feminine and you got the divine masculine. The divine masculine creates time within the simulation, and you are born again and again and again through a male entity. But the thing I was telling you about the feminine is that the whole concept of how to reverse engineer the womb, you can't have that knowledge without studying the female's biology. We talking about the CERN portal and all that, and I'll show you what I mean, right? Here is the CERN portal. It does the same thing that the female womb does. It's gonna allow man to time travel. That's what a stargate does, and that's what the sacred feminine is. That's what the womb. In each of these alternative universes, you got to be born through your mother, but they turned that into Jesus saying everyone must come through me. But in every universe, how did you get there? Because your mama and daddy there. Even when you dreaming, you didn't just pop up in the dream. You had to be born inside of that alternate reality as a baby and grow up through your mom and dad, and you have a whole history and childhood in that dream and a belly button to show that you always coming through your mom and daddy, just like in Back to the Future. It's the grandfather paradox. You cannot enter into these worlds if your mama, daddy, grandma, and all them didn't come before you. Rites of passage. So Jesus couldn't come to the earth until John the Baptist, Abraham, and all of his forefathers came, and they even prophesied them rites of passage. You see Jesus coming through the Stargate, right? That's the concept of the Pokemon coming out they little ball. That's resurrection, Easter egg, resurrection. You're going to the exterior of this thing. When we say, man, I want to get out of here. Why? You want to go to the exterior of this simulation, which is leading you to the interior of the base reality. See, because when we was living on the interior and we wanted to go out, we left the base reality. Now ain't nowhere to go but back in. So when we say we want to get out of the simulation, we actually going back, headed back home, like an inhale and exhale. We entered hell and now we're going to exit hell, like a cosmic breath. So, Goonho, thank you for the donation. He said, Christian smoke out the gym. Thank you for the love. Everybody like and share the video. So when we bit the apple, we entered the world like, what do children do during Easter time? They eat Easter eggs. This one day they teach us to eat all of these eggs, right? Now watch this. Watch this right here. The whole thing about kids eating eggs on Easter is this right here. Check it out now. I'm showing it to you. Everybody resurrected by eating the Easter egg. Look at here. This is a sperm entering an egg. But when they was teaching this story, they was talking about somebody biting an apple and getting kicked out of Eden. This egg right here is actually symbolic of your matrix pod that's connected to the North Pole. Every single person is in there, is a star in the sky. Their mama's egg is one of them stars in the skies. And when the sperm entered that egg, that's when your life started. The sperm went to sleep and started dreaming of a lifetime. When the sperm wake up, it's going to leave the egg and take this memory with it to its next one, till it gets out. But these eggs are like the forbidden fruit. And every time a sperm enter one, a life began on earth. So this is the exodus from Eden and how you get into the body in the physical simulation in this avatar that we call the body. So all of the stories say that we bit an apple and that's how we got kicked out. But if you want to believe that, that's crazy, man. Like, I'm showing y'all the real truth in science before it became spookism and folklore. That's right. Don't you want the truth? Get the truth. Don't get the fairy tales now. What I'm saying is happening right now. But you can't find nobody biting an apple, getting the spell from this garden. I'm telling you how souls get into bodies. And this was the original story of the great fall of man. It even shows you about Humpty Dumpty was the egg that fed. Because what happens is when the sperm goes into the egg, it dreams of multiple lifetimes, and it has to wake up from a dream out of a dream out of a dream. It's dual, is layers of dreaming, more than one dream within a dream. Before it can make it back out of that egg, it has to live multiple lifetimes. Just like Neo in the Matrix, he didn't wake up his first lifetime, and that was told to him in the latest Matrix editions that they added on. They was telling Neo about all of his previous lives. He even came back as a teacher in one of them. So you see, this is old knowledge that we once had. All right, so we're talking about this is what they call a broken egg, the bent apple. All of us did it. When they roll in Jesus' tomb, the Egyptian scarab beetle, this is also what? An eclipse. What happens during an eclipse? Two polarizing, I'm going to call them stargates or portals, what your mama and daddy is. Two of these dual polarizing forces come together, and they create this diamond ring effect. And this right here is what's happening with the sperm. Look. Same thing. And guess what? During the diamond ring moment, the whole sky flashed like a camera flash. Cheese, boom, camera flash. The moment y'all watching an eclipse, right? And the diamond ring part take place, that's the brightest moment of the eclipse. And it's only but for like a little second. And guess what? The diamond ring effect only lasts but a little second, but it's a bright little second. It's the brightest part of it. And this is the same thing when a sperm hit the egg, man. When a sperm hit the egg, it gives this bright flash that only lasts like a second. And you can see it right here. Why did you think the ancestors said as above, so below? Because as above, eclipse in the sky, so below, mama daddy is an eclipse when mama meet daddy. And this other spear come in contact with this spear is showing, reminding us what we did to get here. So when you talk about the rolling, somebody rolling a tomb, right, for resurrection, let's go into it. Let's go into all this here, because they got the scarab beetle rolling the dong, but the scarab beetle ain't nothing but the same dude that's rolling the tomb wheel open, and it's all about resurrection. When you rolling this thing open and you get this diamond ring effect. And if you think about what the eclipse is, what is the eclipse? It looked just like this tomb opened up. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. The stars is playing out a story of how we got trapped in a simulation. And even the Bible said you need to look up there and see signs and wonders of the times. What time we in? Time to wake up. Time to remember what the stars is telling us as fallen angels, as gods. Look at here. This is an eclipse, and this is an open tomb. Syncretism allowed me to do this because there's only one truth and many lies. Every lie is hiding the same truth, which is why I can show you a bunch of different phenomena and link them to the same divine concept of how the gods fail, of how the gods need to rise up out of their own simulation that they forgot they made. And they in here worshiping spook deities, forgetting you in your own dream. And all you got to do is wake up. Check it out. They turned this into a logo called a MasterCard logo. But why do they call it the Master? What is it? You know, what's up with that? What's up, the Master? You talking about God, the Master? Oh, yeah, the one that resurrected? Everybody seemed to be telling you something in your face, huh? because this MasterCard symbol ain't nothing but the vesica Pisces. Everything is everything. Jesus keep telling us the same thing, busting up out of the womb of the woman, resurrection, rebirth out of the simulation. Ain't nothing else. Ain't nothing else. Where is Jesus coming out of? A womb. This is, see, before Jesus, let me break some down to these women out here who Christians. Jesus never resurrected out of a tomb. The original concept was that he resurrected out of a womb. Let me say that again. They turned the womb into the tomb. The original spiritual systems all talked about man overcoming death by refinding the stargate between his woman's mama's leg, which was where heaven was. What did they tell you? Heaven is between a woman's legs, right? That's where your rocket at to get up out of here. Look at this. That's where your rocket to get out of here. Look at that. That's the Jesus fish. So, yeah, you re-enter the womb of your higher plane mother to resurrect. Before, it wasn't no magic tricks with all this religion and stuff. Like Jesus wasn't some dude with a white robe on, some mummy zombie getting up out of a tomb. The white robe is the sperm cell coming back in and out of the egg. And the sperm was considered the ghost. When they said Jesus gave up the ghost, that's considered the sperm cell. That go back and swim back to the waters above, and it goes to its mama in a whole higher reality to be born again through his mother again, not through no Jesus Christ. And so let's go ahead. So the Rolling Stone, we seeing all this now. This is what Easter is about. When Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall and shattered, that was the consciousness turning into many false versions of the self, or what they call the avatars of Vishnu, as we can see here. So the egg shattering into many little eggs is what Plato called the theory of forms. I put this up for you right here. This is Plato's concept right here. Plato was teaching Atonism because everybody had to be teaching Atonism if they wanted to free souls. You had to let people know what the earth is and how to get out of it on some neo-matrix type. So you can see Plato was teaching Atonism, and they turned this into a movie called Jet Li 1, where he had to go and slay all of his false versions throughout the universe so that his last one can be standing. And basically, all of the energy left your God body, and it was split up into all these little lesser versions of yourself. You can exist as many false versions or one true version. And that's El versus Elohim, the singular versus the plural. So the root word of plural is what? PLU, right? Like plus, you're adding on. And the truth is to take away, because we already everything we needed to be in our original form. Anything we add on only takes away from God. So, when you buy the little egg toys and open them up and there's a little toy inside, that's the Pokemon concept, all of this. But see, I'm showing you how like the Christmas tree with the ornaments on it is Ishtar with all them eggs on his body, and it all represent the matrix. The more we fall, the more they clone us. They cloning you every time you fall into a lower underworld, and you don't climb up and go higher up to higher realms, you go to these lower realms where when you die, you multiply. We can never really die. That means to cease to exist. We're infinite energy. But what happens is the lower our energy go, the more it shatters into small little fragments. And each of those fragments is another you in another universe, meaning you got to die and be reborn out of all them different versions before you can make it out the lower you go. Because the lower you go, each little ball break up into multiple other balls. It's an exponential type deal. You see, to where if you see how this one right here becomes 6, and them 6 become, look, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And if you keep doing this, these little ones will break down and it'll go into like probably close to 70 something. I don't know, I'm guessing, but this can go on and break this one down into so many little shredded shards. And that's what hell is. You happen to reincarnate that many times to get back up. This is what Plato said the earth was. And I'm just giving you the concept in modern times with other stuff to show you what Vishnu representing and all that, and how it ties into Easter, meaning exterior, when we left the ultimate reality that was in the middle of the earth right here. We left that. Plato called that the eternal ultimate reality. And what happened was we entered our own. This is what the firmament dome is, with Polaris in the middle. So you got the firmament dome, and right here you got Polaris. Everything is telling us the fact that we're in our own brain, because what this triangle represent is the human skull or dome, and it represents the point right here, the pineal gland, which is all of the neural highways connect back to that point. And I'll be showing you that in other collages. But this is what Plato was teaching, and this is Plato's conception here. Plato get this, well, I ain't gonna say he get it from it. A lot of the ancients knew about optimism. And the optimism concept is how we get the birthday hat. We put on the birthday hat, which is the Santa Claus hat shaped like a cone. Right here it is right here. Santa Claus hat, birthday hat. But this is how the Platonic world creates the physical world. And basically what Plato is showing you is that our world is created similar to a spotlight type concept. You understand, to where, well, I don't really want to pull up too many images from my collage because I want to stay organized. I'll show you what I mean. Show you what I mean real quick. You see how you can make this from a 3-dimensional light source, you create a 2-dimensional circle. Plato said we never saw 3D yet. Science been lying to y'all, and I've been telling y'all that for so long. We are 2-dimensional creatures. When people say, you telling me the earth flat? Well, how we experience reality in 3D? We don't. We don't, and you don't even know what 3 dimensions is. People think they know everything. There was a saying that said, if you take a 2-dimensional creature that's confined to a reality that's a slither, we talking this thin, 2 dimensions. They said anything you stick inside of that 2-dimensional gap will give them an illusion of 3D. The stars, the moon, the sun. You look up at the sun and moon, you thinking those are 3-dimensional spheres and they're projected holograms. It's a 2-dimensional object. It's an illusion. And I'm going to show y'all some of how, just like a painter's canvas, if you're looking at a painting, it's a 3-dimensional artwork, but in reality, it's a 2-dimensional reality. Now, that's kind of a paradox, because when you're looking at this painting, it is 3-dimensional. I mean, and it's shadowing, and it's the way that Bob Ross did it. You're looking into the canvas, into a whole reality, but it's still just a 2-dimensional page. This is how Plato and the ancients describe the nature of our reality, that it is a series of 2-dimensional still images flashing very rapidly to create motion, a motion picture. But our world is a two-dimensional circle that's being projected from a three-dimensional reality, which is the base reality, if you want to call it, or the Platonic world, as Plato said. And this Platonic world is where we will experience full three-dimensional reality. You're experiencing a skewed version of three dimensions in this reality. But you're not really fully fit. You never really fully experienced a three-dimensional reality. You're experiencing something that's trying to fool you like it's three-dimensional, like a video game. We know that a video game is not a three-dimensional reality. It's a two-dimensional simulation appearing to be three-dimensional. You see what I'm saying, guys? So this right here, being born out of the physical world into the Platonic world, is what Easter is all about. And you can see here why we get birthday hats and Santa Claus hats. That's the same hat. So what I have here is a couple of images to show y'all the concept of resurrection by breaking the egg. And one of my favorite ones is Enoch. Person say, Sanchez, what does Enoch got to do with Easter? Enoch is showing you a soul that's breaking through the firmament dome, just like this image. You see a soul breaking out of the simulation here. They're breaking out of the simulation and they busting out that egg for resurrection, breaking the egg. We break eggs every Easter for resurrection. We do these rituals and we don't know what they mean. And that's where I come in at. So hit the like and share button if you appreciate the work, all right? That's right. Now, you see this soul breaking up out the simulation. Here's one of Enoch and Christian artwork. Same story that's been told for years and years and years. Humpty Dumpty, Neo, Jonah coming out the well, you name it. Same thing, y'all. Like and share the video, everyone. Check this out, right? So Enoch coming up out the dome, and I'll show you this too. Hold on. Enoch, think about this, right? This God right here, his name is Anu. He's doing the same thing that Enoch is doing. You don't see the similarities in the name. Anu, Enoch, Enu. Like when you say Enoch and you say Enu or Anu, it's the same. They just put a CH on it. If you take the CH off of Enoch, you get Ena, Enu, Ena, and that's this God name, Anu, Ena. You rearrange Anu, and you get Noah, a Noah, another ark god that comes out of an ark. And this time out the soul coming up out the pineal gland, out the skull, out there and risen up the base of the spine. And all of this coming out, this out of body concept is what our original spiritual system was about. When you leave this body, you enter another body. That's resurrection, the Hiram Abiff ritual. There's another reality beyond this veil, y'all, and we've been stuck in this one reality. We get glimpses of these other realities when we dream and all that. Those worlds are always there with another you walking around. And these are your inheritance. In my Father's kingdom are many man Zions, which are mansions. Man kingdom. Zion is heaven. Man Zion is Manshian mansion. There are many simulations inside of this multiverse, this kingdom. And this is what Jesus was talking about. So here you can see back to this artwork, and you can put that next to Anu. Anu is Enoch. Same thing, Noah and all that, and it all ties into Easter, Christianity, the Bible, and all that. And ain't nobody breaking it down like this, which is why the censorship is heavy. Remember, this is another form of Satan, Santa, all that. And here is Set right here, busting up out the two pillars just like Samson. What does it mean? Boom. Out of body experience, the soul leaving the brain. This is what they see when they cut the brain open. The soul, the seat of the soul. Look at here. Our auric field is the same story. The human body surrounded by our aura is no different than the pineal gland surrounded by the brain. This is a fractal code. So when I was talking about breaking the egg, look at what's going on. Why you think Samson broke the pillars? Look at what you doing right here. Each of these ripples around your body is a false you, another layer of you. And you basically ripping through each of them layers, and that's a homecoming. You ain't never saw the homecoming paper rip? The homecoming paper rip is a ritual based upon when we come home. Because you're a gift that's wrapped up under the tree. Remember, I just told y'all we all under the tree. The tree of life, the matrix tree, has us. And the reason we got to rip through the paper to return home is because we're inside the simulation, a veil. That's your pod. Think of how we wrap up stuff. When you buy off Amazon or Christmas time, you wrap up the gifts and you got to rip it open. Rip is death. Rip. And they keep doing it with you with the homecoming, with Christmas, ripping to let the gift out. That's what I'm telling you. It all goes back to the releasing of the soul. So in high school, yeah, homecoming, they bust through, they rip through the paper. Because during homecoming, right, that's what we do. When we return home, like we rip through the pod that we buried ourselves in, and we wake back up on the other side, rip, boom, homecoming. Here go another god. His name is Seker, the Egyptian god Seker, Sekor, or Soker, whatever you want to call him, or however you want to pronounce it. But Seker is seeker. He's a seeker, an explorer. The age of exploration never ended. We started to explore the most inner, deeper parts of the self, and that led us into sleeping simulations to master ourselves. We were explorers, and the age of exploration never ended. It just begun when we started going. This is going deeper than the Marianas Trench here, when you going into the depths of the self. That's what it meant by Jesus going to hell to beat the devil. You entering the simulation to overcome all of your lower selves. Here go another deity rising up out the simulation. They turned this to the Matrix movie with Neo busting out of the pod. That's why I keep telling y'all, Sophia Stewart didn't create the Matrix. She channeled it. She channeled it during a time when the average person wasn't even deep on that level, if you ask me. Because listen, this stuff can't be created, taught, learned. It can be remembered. It's a cosmic memory that somebody waking you up, activating. And that's what her movie did to me. When I first saw The Matrix, I knew it was based on a true story. I walked out of that theater knowing the truth. I didn't look at that just like a movie. Here go another image here of a soul leaving the simulation. This is Easter, y'all. Exterior. Going on the outside, of this simulation. Exterior. When you break out of this auric field that you see around the body, that is the simulation that you're in. When the smoke clears, you can see the truth. And the smoke is your own auric energy. It has to dissipate. The energy that's around your body is like when the sperm hit the egg, it released so much doggone energy. All that energy that was when the sperm hit the egg, it became the simulation or the Big Bang around you. That got to dissipate in order for you to even see what the real world looked like. You still in the process of being born. Let me show you what I mean. When the sperm went into the egg, it blinded itself with its own underwater splash. Look at this. The energy around your body get there from when you made an impact with the field. That's what the egg is. It's this ethereal field that's allowing the simulation to be created upon impact. This thing don't exist until you make contact with it. The moment you make contact with this thing, then the veil is created around your face, just like this underwater diver. And this is the world around you, the sheep's wool. And this is why Jesus wore a white robe every day when he was in the earth. If you can see what you really look like, you are a creature of light. You're a light being, a light bearer. And this is your white robe. But here's the thing. Conception is when you activated your light and it came on. You never opened your eyes before and you never even saw your own light. So the moment we made contact with this place, it broke us open and made our light pour out. Our own. Here's the thing. When Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall and he broke into a bunch of pieces, this is what I'm showing you. It's like when we're light beings, but our light wasn't turned on until we entered the water. And when our light was activated, we was blinded by our own light. And all we see is a lie around us called the simulation. But that's really a veil, like a blindfold. This whole world is like a blindfold. Because this diver right here ain't really saw the real ocean yet. He don't really know what's under there yet. But soon as the smoke clear, then he gonna see the real world. This whole life that we in right now, it's just a little pass through. It's like all of us just dove into this world as a sperm cell. And this entire life and death experience is us waiting for our underwater splash to clear and to reveal what we really are. So when I look at you and you look at me, what I'm looking at is an underwater splash pattern that we call a human body. Your soul is the you that's going to be revealed when these little white bubbles go away. Because after a while, these little bubbles going to dissipate. And we're going to see what this brother really looked like. We can't really, it's like when you marrying a woman, right? She got on all white and she got the veil over her face, right? You don't know what she looked like yet till you open up the veil. You lift the veil, you reveal the bride or whatever. And that whole concept come from here. Why we say that we're sheeple, because we have on white wool. And that white wool is basically your sheep fur is your auric field. This is the simulation around you. Basically, there's a whole nother world beyond this little bubble. And we're interfacing with the real reality through a fake overlayering program. So it's like you're walking around this plane. You see trees, humans, you see animals, you see this world around you, but it ain't really like what it appears. This is what the world look like to people who are cloaked inside of these little bags here. Because we're seeing the world through this energy field, and it's creating what we call the simulation or life. Now, death is when this bubble right here dissipates. And what's going to be revealed is the real you, the soul, Because this whole little electric field is static disruption. What it is a interference or disruption in the ether. No different than this splash right here. That water was doing just fine before he landed it there and disrupted it. You see, that water was doing it was doing just fine. He dove in it, he disrupted and disturbed the water. And the disturbance of the ether is what's creating what we call the matrix. But this disturbance ain't permanent, and it'll dissipate. Because you can look at it like this, right? This is the static in between the channels. It's not really the ultimate destination. It's like we're on a road right now trying to get to where we going, but we think this is where we're going, when this is like we're on our way somewhere. Put it this way. What if I told y'all we finna take a long ass walking trip, but to make the walk not so boring, we're gonna wear virtual reality goggles and we're gonna walk from one county to the next county. This gonna be a long walk, right? But to keep you entertained, we're gonna do it with virtual reality goggles, and we're gonna make the world around us look totally different. We're gonna turn the world into a video game, like a layering where we don't see the truth until we through with our little walk, right? And when we through with our walk, we can take our little goggles off. You see what I'm saying? Now, some people gonna get there to the promised land before others, and they gonna take their goggles off before you, and they gonna pop out of the game. You call it death. They getting out of their gaming suit. They getting out of their static field. This the ultimate gaming suit. The world around us is mimicking something else that's beyond this little layer. But it's doing it so that, because I think that when they talk about the story of Moses trying to get the people through the promised land, that's what's happening now. We're all those people. Life is us taking the journey through the wilderness to get to the other side. But what I'm telling you is that at some point as spirits, we were journeying back to our base reality. And we passed through a sort of wasteland, just think about you about to pass through something that's maybe scary, something you don't want to see. Why do we use layering programs? To hide the ugly truth. That's why we use layering programs. That's why we layer, like, if I got an ugly picture of myself, I can put a layer on it, it'll make it better. So I believe we were traveling, headed to our base reality, and we had to pass through these sort of nightmare simulations. And we went through them like this. If you ever examine children when they watch scary movies, the child will cover their eyes right before the scary thing happened. The child will say, "Oh!" Naturally, we shielded ourselves from these things because the child know, I'm going to see this monster in my nightmares. If I allow this into my mind, I may have a nightmare about it tonight. Now check this out. When we don't want to see the boogeyman, when we don't want to see the ugly, scary truth around us, we naturally protect ourselves like this. Even children do it. A person walk in and see a unalive loved one, the first thing they do when they see it, they turn away. They tell a person, no, you don't want to see that. Don't go in there. We shield ourselves from that. And what that says is that this entire reality is us shielding ourselves from something that most of us couldn't handle if we saw it. Like Morpheus told Neo, Most people, they'll want to get plugged back in if they saw the truth that we destroyed our base reality and that most of the gods are asleep in the simulation. Ain't but a few people woke on the other side. And when you get over there, you may feel lonely. Like how the dude Cypher felt in the Matrix. He said, plug me back in, man. Hey, the party in hell. Think about this. When most people get to heaven, they ain't gonna want to be there. Heaven ain't what you think it is. If you don't like the truth, you ain't gonna want to go rise up. Some of us are so thirsty we got to know the truth. We're gonna pay a price for it. The truth hurt. And if you can't handle that hurt, you can't get jumped in the game. That's it. Right. That's why everybody don't join gangs. I'm just saying, you got to get it costs something to be a part of something that's about something. I want to get in. I want to get put on. So I'm willing to pay whatever price it is. And I know it ain't going to be all peaches and cream to get my God powers back. See, because Neo in the Matrix had all his powers, but he didn't have all his loved ones. He didn't have all his family. He had all of his loved one and his family when he was asleep with them in the Matrix. Most of your world is sleep. So when you wake up, it's lonely in heaven, man. Heaven is beautiful. If you value the truth. What makes heaven beautiful is the fact that I'm a God in it. In hell, I'm a servant. And I'd rather be a God in a dirty heaven that I got to clean up than be a servant in a pretty hell that robots cleaning up for me. That's right. Rather live in my own house if I got to clean it myself than live in another person's house that maids and servants are cleaning for you. That's the price. That's how I look at heaven and hell. But this all ties into Easter. It ties into Ishtar. And I didn't have to even be here 3, 4, 5 hours making these connections with y'all. It's literally that simple. Let me see something else too. Easter and resurrection. We dealing with the exterior knowledge, man. The Matrix was a real story. The ornaments on the Christmas tree are the eggs, what we call the Easter eggs. But we haven't been born yet, y'all. What we're going through right now is a birthing process. They lied to you. When you came out your mama womb, they told you the birthing process was over. But the ancestors taught that the birthing process was a 7-layered process of rebirths and that you just completed one of them and you got 6 more to go. They taught that your death was your second rebirth and then the death after that was the 3rd, 4th, and so on. That's why I'm telling y'all that the light you see in the sky is your mama's egg in a higher realm. You got to be born again 7 times. If you want to make it to heaven, you got to climb the steps. But people telling y'all don't go into the light. They gonna keep you in hell, man. They gonna keep you in hell, sir. So yes, man, when we talk about the broken egg, it's the bitten apple, just for the final time. And the eclipse, right? What does this have to do with an eclipse? Because during the eclipse, the eclipse is dealing with 2 polarizing energies, creating this same effect that mom and dad are creating. And again, you can go and check that out. You can look at the MasterCard logo. And you can see these 2 energies coming to make something new. And the way they showing you is like red and yellow making orange in the middle. So this is like a merging of two energies making a new one. Red plus yellow making this orange right here. A merging point. And that's like man and woman making a baby. That's why I'm showing you all of this is resurrection, childbirth, life and death. Jesus coming through the womb of his mama. Right? So it ain't really got to be a long lecture. I knew that it'll probably take an hour for me to teach this, and then we would probably have some call-ins. And we're going to do those one at a time. We can't do a big panel because I want to try to actually do this a little bit different. So this god name is Ishtar, which is dealing with Easter. And the god of the exterior realm, or the earth god, the demigod. Easter, the exterior realm. See what I'm saying? Easter always represent resurrection, because anytime we crossing through the stargate, think about this, right? Anytime you're being reborn, you're exiting one body and going into another one. So the breaking of the egg is the soul cracking open the firmament dome like Enoch to go into a new body and resurrect and as a new person like this, just like this. They changed it, y'all. And now they got us celebrate Easter and all these holidays, and we don't know none of this stuff. That's why I'm doing this video. This was high science about the soul leaving the body. And what I'm showing you is the original space program. That's what I'm showing you. Because the space programs used to be a bunch of dudes meditating. You know, when a person meditate, their body's shaped like a rocket. Look at the body, how it starts to shape like a rocket. A triangle, which is a rocket. Watch this. If you look at the human, when the human is meditating, the human shapes like a rocket. You see that? Look at the human body. I'm going to show you the first space program. They lying to y'all about NASA because the root word of nasal, dealing with the nose, nasal is NASA. What does the rocket shape like? A nose. What does it mean to be nosy? To try to look over on the other side, which is what NASA trying to do. Why is the nose? Why I'm bringing up the nose? The nose, you had, in order to meditate, you had to have these breathing techniques. And with the proper breathing techniques, one could transcend death. One could have an out-of-body experience with just our ancestors had all of this stuff written down. It was techniques they had. This thing right here that you call a nose, the reason they said people are being nosy is because our ancestors used their nose to see the other side. How did they do it? Through breathing techniques and meditation. So the rocket shapes like what? A nose. NASA is nasal. Nasal, NASA. They changed everything around over time, but you can still see the truth behind it, that the rocket is just the human nose. And that the nosy people, again, was trying to peek over the other side into the spiritual realm through what? Meditation. So the human body will take the form of a rocket when we meditate. Just like a triangle, just like you see there. Boom. And it's all related. The concept of us going to space in rockets is so stupid and pseudo, and it'll never happen. But we will get there with Neuralink. And if you ain't going to get there with Neuralink, guess how you going to have to get there? Through this right here. Well, Sanchez, what if I don't know how to meditate? Then one day you going to breathe your last breath and you'll see the other side then. The reason we want to practice this before we die is so that death won't be a stranger to us and it won't be a surprise. That's the benefit of doing it before. But either way, it's going to be this right here, this nose that gets you out your body through breathing techniques or when it breathes its last breath. That last breath that you exhale, you exit hell, you push that breath out of your nostrils just like a rocket is pushing the fire out of them two pipes right there. And it gets you to the higher realm like the rocket gets you to heaven. They changed everything up. So when the rocket shoots all its energy and fuel out, it don't need no more, because when it gets in heaven, it's good. It don't need no more fuel. And that's why you breathe your last breath. You exhale, you give up the ghost, and that's it. That is enough to blast you, boom, take off to heaven, that last breath. And when the rocket get to heaven, it don't need no more blast off. It just needed that last breath to get it. Because once it's up there, it's lighter. It's lighter now. Space is heaven, but like I said, space don't exist. It's just your light body and going into taking off all of these heavy versions of yourself and the parts of you that are what we call that can fly, the Enoch, the ones that can ascend through the firmament domes like this. You have to get light. So getting light is getting the opposite of heavy, but is also getting the opposite of dark too. Think about that. When you get light, you get light. When you become lighter, you become brighter. The crazy thing about lighter, brighter is that's the whole story of a rocket taking off. The brighter it get, the lighter it get. As it's blasting off all of its fuel exhaust, because there's like a series of blast off. They hit these like nitrous jugs. They hit one, boom, boom, boom. You know, they may have 7 explosions because they may hit one in each layer of the atmosphere. I'm just giving you the science of how it would work, but we know it's all bullcrap. Every layer of the atmosphere is going to be like if you got your acceleration up in the car and now you hit a speed bump. So every time you hit a speed bump, you're going to need a boost. So they tell you that these rockets got several little like ignitions that like they'll kick off to help boost it to the point where to get up there to the level where it don't need to. It's light now. But this is the story of our soul. It's stripping a layer off every time it goes through a veil. It strips one of its layers off and gets lighter, making it easier for the soul to manipulate the fabric of time and space, making you a multidimensional God that can traverse all time and space like Neo. That's the path of ascension. That's what Easter is about. You exiting the simulation and entering. Because what is you? You is the consciousness occupying the body. That gonna exit this body and it's gonna exit the several bodies until it ultimately ends up in its God body. And it's gonna stay there forever. That's its ultimate end goal. So this is called traversing life and death, or what the Hindus say, rising above the cycles of reincarnation. Those cycles are only created to help you perfect yourself. And you don't need them once you perfected yourself. Once you reached a certain level of reality, there are no boundaries and obstacles, which will allow every being to be a perfect being in what they call the Platonic realm or the base reality. Every being's imperfections is a result of it trying to move through a medium that's working against it. I'm going to say that again. There are no such thing as imperfections. It's only people interacting with a medium called an ether. So every obstacle, every mistake is you trying to compensate because you're living inside of a medium that's doing its thing, but you trying to do your thing. And when you learn to do your thing without allowing what the ether doing to affect what you doing, in other words, you building a pattern of how to manifest your will around the ocean current, right? In other words, you can't just be a sailor and plan your whole trip at sea without accounting for what the hell the sea doing. That's right. That's what the pirate got to think about when he planning his expedition, his cruise, and his ship. He got to say, well, what would the ocean be doing on this day? What is the ocean doing on that day? That's respecting the ether, and the ether will respect you. The ancestors didn't even mate during certain times. They understood the heavens so much they did everything at a certain time just to respect the natural ethereal cycles and go with the path of least resistance. During Mercury retrograde, you shouldn't do no financial contracts or none of that, no economic stuff, none of that. It's a guess what the ancestors taught us? It's a time and a place for everything. That's right. How do you know what time and what place for what event? Get into astrology. It'll tell you the best times to have babies, the best times to be looking for a house, the best time. And that's some real stuff because the way that the stars is aligned affect our day-to-day activities within time, chronos. That's what I'm telling you. Ain't no such thing as I made a mistake or I'm imperfect in this area. We're all perfect beings, but when you put this imperfect, think about this, right? Everybody can manifest their destiny with no problems at all in the base reality. It's like this, right? If I tell you to do your best dance right now, you'll do it. You'll say, okay, I do this all the time. But let me put you underwater and you do it the same way. It's going to be hard because the water working against you. If I tell you to swing your hardest, quickest punch right now, boom, you'll do it. But if I tell you swing that same punch underwater, you will say, man, I'm not perfect. I'm limited. Why is it so hard for me to do what I know I can do? Because you under the water. You under an ethereal barrier that's making you can't fly because we can fly just like Enoch. We got wings, we can fly. There's a lot of things we can do, but we only mastered those things in heaven. The gods in heaven say, okay, you think you good, huh? Look at you little baby gods flying around. It's easy, huh? I know, and here it is. Go try all that down there. You took the challenge. If you can learn how to fly and get all, it's like this. They have it in all of the Karate Kid movies and Bruce Lee movies. They will have him training under the water, swinging punches under the water. If you can master your punch under the water, man, when you get your butt from up under that water and you punch somebody, they gonna goddamn explode, nigga. Why you think Bruce Lee trained under the water? Because the water working against you. If you can overcome that water, man, when you get out from that water and punch somebody, it's gonna feel like a lightning bolt hit their ass. If anything that you doing, if you can master it under the water, you're going to be the best at it on land. So our ancestors said, okay, you little baby gods, I see you. Y'all mastering everything. But now, try the same thing down here. Let's put some weight on you. Let's put some layers on you. Let's make you heavier. And let's see if you can still fly high. Now, if you can still get the strength to fly high with all this weight on you, you're going to be a beast. That's why we wear ankle weights. I remember we used to wear ankle weights for like a week straight, not take them off, shower with them on. When you finally take them ankle weights off and you go and play ball, you going to think you can fly, going to feel like you can fly. Hey, men, type in the chat room what's the longest that you ever wore ankle weights. Type it in the chat room. I'm curious. Put that in the comment section because I seen some Negroes that can go a long time with ankle weights on, nigga. They forget they got them on, nigga. They at weddings and shit with them on, nigga. I'm not taking them off yet, nigga. Some niggas do that with do-rags too, because they think if they keep that do-rag on for 3 years, when they take that shit off, it's gonna look like Plato's Atlantis. Like, damn, nigga, them shits is so deep, you can fall in those 360s. But yeah, they trying to get, my whole thing though is like, that's what we're doing, right? It's like a spring tension, which is why Easter is in spring, because it's recoil. If you give some, you get some. It's like to say, if I'm pulling back my arrow the furthest, the further back I pull my arrow, the farther forward it's gonna go. That's a law of the universe. The people that only pull their arrow back a little bit, when they let it go, the arrow ain't gonna go nowhere. But the people that pull all the way back, that arrow gonna go far. Just like the people that go all the way down in the middle of a trampoline, when that thing release, it's gonna shoot them all the way up. That's what spring is about, resurrection. When we reach our lowest point in the simulation, it's gonna be our highest point in the base reality, because it's a paradox. It may seem like this thing is getting worse and worse. That's because they preparing you for your initiation. This your struggle story. You gotta go through that to say, hey, he won, happily ever after. They call it the hero's epic. All of us gotta live it out. It's a pre-written script. They call it the scripture. God beating the devil. Everybody does it like a birthday and you blow your candles out. Everybody do it. That's what's happening on the spirit. It's no big deal. Everybody know, okay, you go down there, play the game, you beat the game, and when you come up, you get little cheat codes and perks. Each game get harder, but you get bigger rewards. So some of us say, man, it was easy to wake up. Like how we able to download this information and wake up. That's because this just level 1, silly. You got 6 more incarnations. And guess what? Each one gonna get harder, but easier. It's a paradox. It's like the challenge of you to wake up and find this knowledge again is gonna be harder in your next life, but you're gonna do it because it's a chain reaction, domino effect, ripple effect. When you wake up in one life, you wake up in all of the other ones. The action is strung together, string theory. But see, the reward for waking up get badder and badder as we go up. And because the reward increase, the challenge increase, just like a video game. When you beat level 1, that was easy, and they didn't give you that much. But when you beat level 2, that was a little harder, and they gave you a more reward. Level 3 was even harder, and they gave you even more. Level 4 is like the levels get harder, but they get easier because you perking up with the level. Yeah, they say, well, level 6 gonna be hard. Well, it don't matter, because when I beat level 5, they gave me a gift. They gave me a little God power to make level 6 easy. So when I beat level 6, they gonna give me another little gift, a little perk, to make beating level 7 easier. You see what I'm saying? Each one you beat gonna give you a little perk to make beating the next stage that much easier. Just like in Mario and any video game. They give you the perks as you go, because the level's gonna get harder and you gonna need them perks. They ain't just giving you perks because they look pretty. They giving you perks because the levels are getting harder. There would be no need for a perk if the level didn't get harder with resurrection. But the harder they get, the more we're going to find it don't matter what the universe throw at us, we're going to knock it out the park with our perks.
That's right!
So don't even trip. Don't even trip. This thing easy, ain't that right? Life ain't really hard. Death ain't either. Life sure ain't hard, because this is death. And this, on the scale rating of hard, it ain't that damn hard. It's overrated. I know this is like level 1, level 2 type shit. It must gonna get harder after this. Yeah, I'm one of them gamers. I beat level 1 quicker than everybody else, and people like, you already beat level 1? Yeah, that shit was easy, man.
That's right!
We on level 3, man. I done beat the game already. Y'all still on level 3? That's just how these games be. All gamers ain't created equally, you know.
That's right!
Just saying. Some of us beat the shit quick. They gotta hurry up and make a harder game for some of us, because we like, come on, man, this what y'all got for me? For real? Come on, bro. Like, I really do this, man. Plug me in. But yeah, this is what Easter is all about. You know, you cannot escape the knowledge of the simulation. The knowledge of us in the simulation and us leaving here. Like I said, the monks, the prophets, those were the original space program. Here they go right here. Look at them. Leaving the earth. Busting up out the body. Going to the alternative realms. And walking around their other bodies and their other earths. Yeah, look at him. But his consciousness busting right on out the pineal gland. And this is what the space program. See, people, all of the space programs today are the synagogue of Satan, because they promising man access to the heavens, but they know that the only way to heaven is from within. And Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven was within. Now, NASA and everybody else has deceived the whole world. The Bible said that serpent deceived the whole world, and their symbol is a serpent.
That's right!
Everybody in the world believe in a dang on space and globe. Even the Muslims and the Christians. And I'm like, don't you know that you believing in heresy? You're believing in something that's blasphemous, man. Jesus said a kingdom of heaven is within. Why they got y'all looking up there? That ain't nothing up there but some darkness and a simulation. You can't go to nothing in the sky, y'all. I know we like to look at the stars. I like to look at them too, but fuck all that shit. It's stupid shit. And I said it like that to desecrate it for a reason. Ain't nothing special about what's in the sky. All of that shit is in you, bro. That's what I'm saying. People don't know nothing about themselves, but they studying the stars. When you know that you're a damn star, even though they ain't got your shit on Hollywood Walk, only thing I'm telling y'all is this right here, bro. Ain't nothing outside of you to be marveled at versus what's in you. The stars are telling us what's happening on the inside of us. So if a person know what's happening in the sky, but they don't know what's happening in they self, then fuck them stars, dude. You got it all backwards.
That's right!
You got this shit, you got the game messed up, son. Because the stars ain't nothing but giving you signs of reflecting what's in you. It's like a damn Fitbit. The Fitbit telling me, lower your calories, do this, do that. That's what the stars telling me. Hey, man, don't buy on this day. Don't do that on that day. But when you get good at this shit, you don't even got to pay attention to the stars. Let me tell y'all something. I ain't even lying about this right here. The stars and all that in the sky ain't real, man. When you fly up there, it disappears. You don't see nothing. That's what I'm telling you. So what the hell is that you seeing in the sky? It ain't in the sky. It's a layering program that's in you. That's why I said, man, forget all that shit if you don't understand what I'm telling you right now about yourself, then you need to be saying fuck astrology and all that.
That's right.
I'm dead ass. If you don't get that it's all you, my guy, then you need to take a break from everything else, man. Ain't none of that stuff important if you don't know about you. The stars and all that was made for me, man, to serve me. And all of the stars in the sky revolve around me. Guess what they said? Well, you must think the sun and moon and the universe revolve around you. Well, it does, sir. And they used to teach us that at a certain time. And when we thought that, we was able to manifest our own destiny. Now you got a bunch of crooks and criminals without souls going around the world manifesting their destiny with bloodshed. And they call it manifest destiny. And how are they able to manifest their destiny and you ain't able to manifest yours? Because guess what, y'all? Desire, will, want. My coach said, man, whoever want it bad enough gonna get it.
That's right.
It ain't even who the most talented, man. I used to think that when I was little. I would sit in my room and read thesauruses. I had a good vocabulary. I was so nerdy and so bougie at times too. And I would think because my flow was so I was like Nas. I was so lyrical. And I had this attitude sometime where, man, I know I'm going to win. And that's when you lose. And the dude you lose against ain't better than you. His attitude is hungrier than yours. I lost rap battles like that. I've lost rap battles like that. I've lost rap battles not because my flow wasn't the most sophisticated. I didn't have the best lyrics and metaphors. My shit was better than his. But his energy made the crowd say, oh, and he wasn't really saying nothing. But I showed up like, okay, I'm going to win. And he showed up like, man, I got to win. I'm hungry. And the people felt that over me sometime. And you know, I realized you just can't spit your lyrics. You got to feel your shit every time.
That's right.
I don't give a fuck what you got to do. If you got to drink some beer, drink some wine, some liquor, and hit some weed before you go on that stage, you need to be feeling that shit, else they ain't going to feel it. You need to tap into the emotions. If it's an angry song, get mad. If it's a sad song, get sad. Because the people going to feel it. You ain't just a rapper, you're an actor. Because you may not feel sad that day. But if you rapping, performing a sad song, you need to think of something that's going to get you sad. And you need to smoke some, drink some. Why you think rappers do so many drugs? They really got to have push buttons and have complete control over their emotions at any time. A rapper can be feeling bad as hell all day. Then he can end up at a meeting where they say, hey, do the happy song that you did. And I'm not feeling happy. I'm not feeling that way. I'm just telling you, drugs are a cheat code that give these dudes power over their emotional state. They can alter their minds into different emotional states to get into those vibes. And that's why a lot of artists don't live long, because it ain't like a damn painter. You paint with crayons and markers. I paint with emotions. And if you want me to paint you a sad picture, I got to go pull up the darkness in myself. I can't just get a black crayon. I got to feel blackness inside of me. And I know that because I'm a poet. I'm an artist. I know how to tap into these emotional states and channel my energy to get a certain result out of my art. And that's what the universe is trying to teach us how to feel. Because God knows everything. And God is like a robot. It knows everything, but it don't know about love, hate, jealousy, emotions. Let me tell you what this place is. Basically, as a baby God, you're like an AI robot. You're the all-knowing. You programmed to know all the secrets of the universe and all that. But guess what? The universe can't program into you. Love, hate, all that. You got to define those for yourself within the simulation. How you want to love, how you want to hate. What as a creature, what makes you jealous? What makes you mad? These are things you got to explore within your own self. The universe ain't going to give you a personality template. You got to dictate who you want to be based on all these energies you're balancing within the self. And you're here to work that dang on. You're here to work that out. You're here to untangle that knot and figure out who's beyond this veil, who's gonna bust out of this equation. Whoever it is, it's gonna be your best version. That's one thing's for sure. What we're looking at, people on the screen, is the first space program. The first knowledge that was teaching people how to lead the earth, and it wasn't on a rocket, it was on a starship. We'll be back after this message.
Just one who's out there in the fight to teach.
All right, let's get going. Yeah, let's get going. Because I got some more stuff for y'all before I open up the lines about the simulation. Here is something I wanted to show you guys that I thought would really blow you away. You know, people don't understand just how much of a genius Plato was. I got a whole presentation about him, pay-per-view presentation. Plato was very profound as a philosopher. And Plato would have been in the same bracket as Enoch and all of the prophets that was able to transcend and make it to the Platonic world. Plato would have been equivalent to Enoch, Jesus, all of those people. So that's big. Plato's understanding of the universe was due to the fact that he himself was a Gnostic. And the Gnostics had initiations and hierarchies like any other group, but it was a spiritual thing to where the most high-ranking Gnostics were the ones that were able to lucid dream and have the, you know how we say today, man, I want to learn how to astral travel. I want to learn how to astral project and lucid dream. That was what the whole ultimate knowledge was on the earth back in the day. That was the most important thing, how to, you being able to detach from the body. That was a beautiful gift, man. I'd rather have that than all the money in the world. That multi-dimension, and that was what people was given. That was the knowledge back then. And you were born into Gnosticism. And I'm going to tell you what's so crazy about Gnosticism. The children led the adults in Gnosticism. I know that sounds crazy, but you can read that even in the Bible. It say that a child shall lead them. In other words, Gnostics would often ask children. Gnostics had created a way to speak to babies, newborn babies. We didn't have no language barriers among age. So a baby coming from the other side can tell us what that was like. See, the older we get, we forget what we did to get in the body. It turned into a science of trying to extract the knowledge of the other side from a brain as young as possible, because the memory is fresh from the other side. And then you had something called whiz kids, star kids. These were kids that can remember their journey from the other side more than others, and can even go so far back to remember previous lifetimes. And you know that they wasn't lying, because if you bring children into this world and you don't teach them like a lot of stuff, and they start just bringing up stuff about the world that you didn't tell them, how else they get that knowledge? Deja vu. It would, see, the biggest story when they told you that the mind had to be educated. The mind needs to be nurtured, loved, and protected, and the mind will tell you secrets about the universe that you didn't even have to teach it. In other words, if you simply leave these kids alone, they would have been smart as hell and knowledgeable, way more knowledgeable than educational systems. And I'll debate anybody on that. That people in a jungle, in a tribe with no education systems, got more sense than us when it comes to interacting with this earth and this universe.
That's right.
Your education system ain't to make you a god or a spiritual guru. It's just to make you a consumer.
That's right.
Can't educate somebody to make them a god. You can enlighten them to make them a god, though. Now, here is what Plato left us. This is the Holy Trinity. Look at it a minute. Because what happened was the church silenced this kind of knowledge, and they turned this to the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. But before that, it became this. This here is the symbol of Yahweh, or the seal of Yahweh. Why is this the seal of Yahweh? This is the recycling symbol, because that's how you get recycled through the Trinity, through the cycle of Saturn. You go from the Platonic world, physical, mental, Platonic, physical, mental. And that's because this Platonic realm is like a portal. And if you ain't opened up the portal, which is like opening up your mind, then guess what? You will bank off of it. It's like a bullet hitting steel, it'll ricochet. Let me show you what I mean, too. Go even deeper than this. Let's go even deeper. Here is what the Platonic realm is. You see that white ball? You see that white ball at the top, the white one? That's the Platonic realm, the white ball. And here it is right here. If you got this right here closed, then when the consciousness try to leave this thing, it's just going to be like water hitting a dam. It's going to be redirected. And this is what you're going to create in its redirect pattern. Boom, 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 boom. The holographic trinity, or what they call the Holy Trinity. When you escape it, when you open up your mind, the knowledge, when you open up your mind, guess what? This thing opens up. And your consciousness, when it transmute the physical world, it transmit the mental world, and it pops the fuck up out the Platonic world, and it escapes this whole matrix. It pops out like this. It pops out just like you see this little dot up here. It's outside of the firmament net. That's you. When you get up out of all of these lines, they are lifelines. They lead to different versions of you in underworlds. Look at Vishnu with all them different versions of himself. You see? All of these lines are lifelines where another you has a life going on in some alternative reality, and it's connected to the real you. Now check it out. The real you is sleep, because the energy, think about this, the energy that it would take to resurrect this real you, which is this ball right here, that's been broken down into all these fake yous. You see? So until you kill all of these fake yous, the real you can't wake up. The real you fell asleep when it lost its energy. Why do we get tired and sleepy? Because we lose energy. How did the real you lose its energy? It split it when Jesus say, I'm chopping my body up at that last supper table. Jesus said it. I'm going to chop my body up at the table. Here go the table right here, people. You know what that is? That is the universal hexagram. And why I put this right here, it shows you how the universal hexagram ties into the energy vortex points of the body. For example, like what this showing you is they chopping up the body of Osiris right here, and they putting it on a grid. And the whole thing about this is what it's showing you is this right here. This right here. So why is Osiris, why is his body blue? Because it's an avatar. And why is it connected to them strings? Because it's a puppet. Your body is a puppet on the strings. And guess what? The divine feminine, which is your higher self, controls the puppet, which is what this goddess represent. So if you want to see how the strings of the puppet is being pulled, here it is right here. Look, here go the puppet master. Check him out. You see him? This little bitty dude dressed in all black, he's grabbing the veins and the neural highways. I'm sorry for this blurred image. But if you can get a better image, it'll look like a man grabbing a bunch of strings. That's why they call him Santa Claus, holding on to the reins of the reindeers. The North Pole deity right here with his big boots on. You see him? And he's holding on to those strings right there. And as he pulls those strings, it moves the body. Go watch the Men in Black movie. They'll show you the little dude inside the head using the remote controls to control the body. Here he is right here. It's based on a true story. Your mind is your body's puppet master. As a man thinketh, so is he. Your mind is playing a video game. Your mind is a blind gamer. Your mind is your original self because it's in a base reality like this. Your mind is this blind ass puppet master. It's got his eyes closed, but it's connected to all these strings, and it looked like a magician, like it's doing all of these weird hand motions because it's using strings to control the body, which is a puppet, and the body exists in darkness. The mind can't see. It looked like six oh seven unk. It looked like this. I'm just fucking with my nigga. I'm just fucking with him. I'm just fucking with you, dog. I'm just fucking with you, nigga, for real. But look, that's what I'm telling you. Everybody is in darkness which is what this little dude represent. And these strings that you holding, that's the neural network. That's every action you take is a result of neural activity in the brain. And that activity is dictated by this entity that's seated in the brain at the seat of the soul. When that leaves the body, your voodoo dog gonna drop down like the puppet master left. It's gonna be like a ventriloquist took his hand out of the dog. The dog gonna go lifeless. Your body is a doggone puppet, and your soul is the one playing the puppet. Your soul is the ventriloquist. And when it's through playing with this puppet, it's gonna drop it down on the ground. And you're gonna see you wasn't the puppet. You was the puppet master. You is the divine feminine represented by the goddess here. They always depict the true self as a female. But that's why a lot of guys got a problem with the word divine feminine. But if you beat the game Metroid, he take the mask off, you realize it wasn't a he, it was a she the whole time. And this ain't no LGBTQ type stuff. It was people who was thinking on a high level, just like when they created the Baphomet. They weren't thinking with their mind in the gutter with no, rainbow stuff. They was trying to show you the part of all humans that give birth to the soul, and that's a divine womb that's within you. This man, his soul is exiting out of his own body before it even enter his mama's womb in the next reality. Think about that science. That's some deep stuff. Before you can be born out of your mama, you got to be born out of yourself. Now tell me that ain't no deep stuff. For your soul to even make it to your mama, which is heaven, it got to make it out of hell, which is its own ignorance. Think about what I'm telling you. You can't be born again on a higher plane until you kill this version of yourself in this realm that thinks it knows everything and too stubborn with ego. So that these realities are tied together. Your mama ain't gonna open her legs for your daddy in the next plane of existence until you open your mind. Think of how deep that is. It's called string theory. Your mama and daddy meeting each other in a higher plane is when your lower version rise up out of here and meet with your higher version in that same exact plane. Tell me that ain't spectacular. It's breathtaking, man. It's so awesome that all events in time are strung together by all events in time. And now the question is, what does my death represent on the other realm? What does my awakening represent? It's playing out over and over. When you start to wake up in this realm, your daddy meets your mama in a higher realm. And now they dating and stuff, talking. You wake up, boom. They tie the knot. Then you die. That's when your daddy give birth to you, and everything is in reverse. It's paradoxical. If you don't wake up in this world, your daddy never meet your mama in the next world, which is why you ain't born in the higher reality. Go watch Back to the Future. Like, all of these events are tied together. And if you do one thing, the universe will give you this scenario. And if you do this, then the universe will play out this scenario. So it just say you never wake up in this world. Your dad and never even meet your mama in a higher world. You don't even exist up there yet. Until you learn who you are here, you don't exist there. Your whole reason for trying to find yourself here and trying to learn who you are here is learning that here manifests you there already. Everything you do here is creating a script in a higher plane that's going to dictate whether or not you end up in a higher plane or not. You are affecting time and space, man. That's what I'm telling you, and that can be proven. We affect the fabric. It don't just affect us. It's interacting with our decisions. Past, present, and future. If you don't do this, it don't do that. If you do this, it's gonna do that. That's how the universe is playing with you. If you stand over here, your shadow gonna stand over there. If you move over here, your shadow gonna move over there. That law, it can be seen everywhere. If I do this, my shadow do that. And my shadow ain't doing exactly what I'm doing. It's doing its own thing. It's turning what I'm doing into its own alternate, skewed, reflective reality on the ground here. And that's what your body is to your soul, a shadow. But my whole thing is this right here. The universe responding to us, we responding to it. We dictate the events that play out past, present, and future with our decisions, and that is freaking powerful, brothers and sisters. You're writing history in a higher plane with every action you're doing right now. And that is freaking outstanding. That I control whether my mom and daddy meet each other on a higher plane. Whether I want to be born, I might not want to be born on a higher plane. I may want to stick around here. And guess what? That means I'm going to make my mom and daddy be born, meet each other here, not there. Now, look, the thing is this. We are waking up in levels to what we are, who we are, why we are, where we are, and all that. And awakening is rebirth. Because this body is a classroom. And when you learn a lesson in this class, you have to pass on to another class. And when you pass to another classroom, you know what sucks? You got a new desk. I got to get comfortable in my new desk. My soul got to get comfortable in its new body. You got a whole year in that desk, and then you got to change desk again. You don't change desk no more after you graduate school. You stop playing musical chairs, which is the soul going from body to body to body, trying to find the best viewpoint of what's going on. And the best viewpoint is out the game itself. Now check this out right here, right? All actions are tied together. String theory is real. In order for you to be born again on a higher plane, you have to wake up in this realm. Your awakening in this world, what it does, it rewrites a whole nother script in a higher realm. Now, your mom and dad exist in these higher planes. They living out their lifetimes over and over on like a loop. They're not finding out the knowledge until you find out the knowledge. It's all connected. Excuse me, I said, my bad. They're not finding each other until you find yourself. Think about this. When a man get with a woman and they have a baby, they don't have a baby. They find a soul. They find a baby, like baby Moses in the Nile River when the Pharaoh found him. Your soul is going up the North Pole traveling, and check it out. This is what I'm saying. Your soul is saying, I want to go to a higher realm, but I need the portal to open for me. This the gates of heaven. The soul is a cupid that's causing its mom and daddy to meet by it meeting with its higher self. So like the reason your mom and dad had met and gave birth to you here is because you was in a lower world and you came into the realization that, wait a minute, there are higher planes of existence. I'm there. And I need to be rising up out of here. You can't go out of here without that knowledge. And what I'm telling you is your mom and daddy don't even know each other. They're ignorant to each other. Just like you don't know this knowledge. You don't even know that this knowledge exists. But the moment you meet this knowledge, your mama meet your daddy. That's what I'm telling you. We open up the gates of heaven, which is our mother's womb. We cause that script to play out in a higher realm based on what we doing here. All events are connected, y'all. So people say, well, I'm going to be born again on a higher plane. Not if your mama don't meet your daddy on that higher plane. So guess what that's telling you? That our mama and daddy won't even meet each other if we don't wake up, because you got all of these alternative realities. And in these higher heavens, there's a possibility that a new soul called Sanchez can be born in these higher planes. But my mom and dad ain't met each other there yet. That's the cupid concept. The cupid is the soul that's trying to rise up and it need a portal to open. A portal is like a tornado vortex, 6-9 energy. You need both of them to make that. So the soul is working his magic and alchemy down here to make things happen in the higher realms based upon you willing it in your heart. That willpower, that desire, that right there, it start to write a script out in the universe to bring to fruition what you wanted. So if you say, look, I want to be born again in a higher plane, well, the only way that can happen is if your mama and daddy meet each other, because if two other people meet each other, it won't be you that's born. Your two DNA strands is the 6-9 vortex, the left gate and the right gate. Mama open up one, daddy open up one. That's how you get into heaven. It's two gates. It's a left gate, right gate. You're pushing both of them. But see, mama open one, daddy open one. You get in. That's a vortex, 6-9 energy. The vortex is open. So when your low self meets its high self, that plays out as your mama meeting your daddy in a higher plane. And as they merge together, your mama and daddy is tying a knot. They getting married. They becoming one. When the merge is complete, you bust the hell up out of here. And we know what that is. It's death in this realm, but life in that realm. And now your mom and daddy just gave birth to you in a higher realm. You're writing this script out. Go read the Greek mythology about cupids. It'll tell you that the children chooses the parents. And this is why the Greeks taught that. This is because all events are connected. Everyone understood string theory. We don't no more. And string theory is why our ancestors said all is connected. So our ancestors had their way of acknowledging the fact of string theory. They didn't call it string theory, but what they did say was everything is connected, or all is connected, you know. But this whole resurrection science became summed up in this holiday that we call Easter, which is why I chose to do this here stream. I know it ain't Easter month yet, but I wanted to go ahead and do this. And maybe I shouldn't have, because people like, bro, it ain't April yet. I don't care. You get the knowledge when you get it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me see. Maybe we do have callers with questions or somebody may want to join. Let me look. I haven't been looking at the chat at all. So what I'm going to do is read any donations. I appreciate y'all. Leonard Robertson sent in a donation, says salutes bro Sanchez, Mobile, Alabama in here. Flat power, bro. Flat power. Shout out to Sauce Bite. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Hey, Astro 40K, appreciate it. Unlock a new ability after you beat every boss. Thank you. D-Dub gifted 5 memberships. Clap it up. My brother Louis Russell back in the house. Thank you for your continued support, bro. I really appreciate that, man. And to my brother Goonho, says smoke only. Goonho want to see some smoke. Well, I'm finna drop the call link, so bring it.
That's right.
Whoever want it. Dolph Obama says salute, bro. These deep streams be fire. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I have to stay on point with what we do over here. Lord Jefferson, thank you as well, man. Thank y'all all for those super chats. I appreciate it for real. And to the people that hit the Cash App, I appreciate y'all too. I know now the Cash App is like anonymous. My PayPal right now, I'm going through some with it. Hopefully, if you sending in PayPal donations, it may prompt you right now, but I'm going through trying to dispute with them. But don't worry about that. I appreciate y'all. I'll keep you updated on that. Appreciate all of the Cash Apps. I would call out the names of the people who sent Cash Apps, but for a while I was using the Cash Apps for anonymous, and I don't really know if people want me to call them out or not. So I'm just going to say I see y'all Cash Apps, I'm reading them, and I'm going to respond to them with hearts as well. I do read and respond to Cash App donations. So I just don't name those people live unless they say read it or don't read it, or maybe I need to have people select that. But let me go ahead and drop that link like I promised and get the people on up. Come on, guys. Don't have us waiting. Click that link. Y'all want to hear another one of my beats, man? Because people was like, bro, them beats is hard. Now check it out. I'm going to be doing a music showcase where I'm going to be showing beats on some of the music showcases, and some of the music showcases going to be showing music, real like music, like raps, my songs. And then I'm going to be showing just my instrumentals, my productions too. And during those, I'm going to have discounts if you want to grab any of that stuff. So be on the lookout.
That's right.
So earlier when I was telling y'all about string theory and about how the cupid, how we make mom and dad come together, tie that into the eclipse. I was telling y'all about the eclipse photo. Those two polarizing entities coming together to make an eclipse. And then what happens after that? A diamond ring effect. What does a man give a woman that he bun with? You are the diamond ring effect, and here it is right here. When you see the god busting up out of the dome, that's why during the eclipse, the diamond ring effect is the brightest part, because that's when the soul exits. I believe our earth is playing out the story of how souls enter and exit in these eclipses. It's like a sign that we wrote up there to remind us of how all strung together, how everything's strung together. You think about an eclipse and the diamond ring effect that I was talking about earlier, That's when mama meet daddy. See what I'm saying? So think about that now. People get rings when they complete stuff, like Super Bowl ring, all that. When you complete your life, you really get a ring. If you complete this thing and you win, you get a ring after every victory. You get a diamond ring, and this what it look like right here. That means you get to be reborn in a higher plane. And this what it look like, your ascension in a higher plane. And if you compare this right here to, like I said, this right here, it's the diamond ring effect. You busting up out the simulation is another big bang. We're creating a big bang, and our energy is turning into the construct, the body, the simulation around that point of singularity, just like I just showed with the underwater splash. This diver created the bubbles, the veil around him when he dove in. We're building it. That's why this world got to fade away when we die. Our death, right, is already written out. And what I'm saying is everybody got to die because everyone's underwater splash got to dissipate. And guess what? Everyone's underwater splash don't look the same, and it don't dissipate the same, nor at the same time. And that's life and death. We created it. Like, the way that you're gonna die is a direct result of the way that you entered the earth. When people say, man, how am I gonna die? Why am I gonna die that way? Because you jumped in that way. The universe giving you what you gave it. And people ask me questions all the time. What about people that die this way or die at this age? That's how they hit the water. You got some people that dive in this water, and the moment they dive in, their little underwater splash go away real quick. That's like a person that died young. They dove into this earth, and the veil was removed from their eyes at a young age. They died. They saw the other side. They see the real ocean. They get to see what's the real thing around them. And they looking at all of us with the splash pattern in front of our eyes, blind as hell. They swimming past us. We still trying to figure out what the ocean looked like because our underwater splash pattern hasn't dissipated yet. And this is all determined on how you impacted the water. And you may have somebody that impact the water at a point where, hey, they veil is removed at 10 years old. Why? Because if you're a good diver, you don't make a big ass splash pattern. The worst thing that's happening in this realm is the best thing that's happening in a higher realm. It's a paradox. So what would be the paradox of a person dying young here? A person living old in the higher realm? Because just reverse it and think about it for a minute. If you're an old spirit in this higher realm, right? And you just want to peek your head under the water and look for a little, but you ain't trying to, you like an old person on the porch. You ain't leaving the porch, but you knows that you're a peek. You ain't leaving. And I'm saying them old souls, the peekers, peeking into here, they will be young motherfuckers coming in here quick as hell and leaving. And to us, it'll look like, man, that was a young person that died young, but in the paradox, on a paradox tip in a higher realm, that was an old soul. And they didn't plan on staying here long. They just had to peek in and do something real quick. You know what I'm saying? That's another way to look at it. But let me go with the first caller. Let me go with my brother Star Trek. I don't know if he's ready yet, but yeah, the floor's open.
Marv.
Yeah, go ahead. The floor is on you.
Okay. Salute, Brother Sanchez.
Salutes, bro.
Let me see. Far as like this picture you got right here on the screen, it could be interpreted as yes, that's us into the this reality. The outside reality that we don't see will be the spiritual realm.
Yeah. Basically, okay, I don't know why I'm getting some nasty echo from your mic.
Are you?
Yeah, whenever I talk. But yeah, I'm gonna refrain from talking right now. I'm gonna let you formulate your question. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I said, do you, because I mean, like, I feel like you philosophizing, you know what I'm saying? Also, because, I mean, a lot of things you're saying is just intertwined. Like you was talking about the string theory, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's everything you're saying is intertwined. So it's like a lot to unpack. So it's like I wouldn't be able to, like, go over everything that you said during the presentation. But I do know, like, far as, like, um, some of the, some of the, information that you unpacking is doing with a different race. You know what I'm saying? It's basically you unpacking their information for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to dissect it, like far as like okay, like this picture right here. Okay, like so, like I said, in that first picture with the dude jumping in the water and all the bubbles around him, do you feel like that's us? And the reality and the outside part that he can't see, is that the spiritual realm? Is that how you
Right,
interpret it?
right. The bubble, all of that white stuff that you see around him, that's an underwater splash pattern. That's what I call the veil around our eyes or the world around us. Right. So
Okay.
the world around us ain't permanent, and it fades away just like this. So that's what I'm saying, that the world outside was created the moment we interacted with it. This construct isn't its own template. We have the template that basically our energy creates the simulation. Every baby that's born in this world, they've created their own universe and they're walking around in it with all of us, just like us all online gaming together. Everyone got their own console and their own TV, but we playing in one space online. It's a hypothetical space. We all
Okay.
in our own house, but we all in the same house. That kind of paradox, like online gaming. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everyone's world around them is theirs, and it's gonna fade away, just like every other human. What they're gonna realize when their world fade away is that there are other humans all around. What they're gonna realize is when their world fade away is that there are other humans still in the game, sleep, waiting to be born. Because this what we look like for real. That's why I keep telling y'all we haven't been born yet. We still in the process of being born right now. So the reason I'm showing you this little baby right here is because I keep showing you this right here. I'm saying in the highest reality, you still ain't been born yet. You ain't gonna be born there until you born out of here. As you, like I was just saying about the parents.
Yeah.
You don't exist in these higher realms. Ain't nobody even thinking about you. You don't like you just don't. How you gonna think about a baby that haven't been born on earth yet? You don't even, since so it's like you
Yeah, no doubt. But I see as that cosmetology right there that you're showing that synced up with the what you would say the incubator babies. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
but
The
that's what I'm
incubator baby.
telling. Yeah, that's my point. I'm saying we're the incubator babies.
Well, no, not actually. No. We ain't the
The
incubator
word
baby.
incubator means inside of the cube, incubate. That's why I've been teaching the whole lecture. If you've been paying attention, brother, that we gotta
No.
bust out of our.
I've been,
Don't cut me off, man. Listen to me, because you haven't been paying attention. What I've been saying is we're still in the process of being born. That means we still in an incubation process. So how the hell you gonna say we ain't incubator babies When the whole damn Easter stream is the fact that you're still in an incubator, you're not in your mother fetus bag. In the base reality, you can't be born through a mother. Flesh and blood is a simulation. In the base reality, your real feeder bag is a damn incubator. And when you bust out of your last fetal bag for your last reincarnation or resurrection, it ain't gonna be your mother's fetal bag. It's gonna be your own. The concept of us busting out of our mother's fetal bag didn't exist until we left Eden and women had to give birth. That's why God told Eve, now you're gonna give birth and it's gonna hurt. Because we didn't give babies birth that way at first. Souls simply weren't born. You just was conceived. It's two acts to existence, conception and birth. Birth just started. Conception always. That conception is when a light just appear out of nowhere. They say when a new star is born. In our base reality, it ain't no such thing as childbirth. It's only new stars coming on in the darkness. That's like somebody opening up their third eye, becoming self-aware. And now they light bulb come on. Damn, I'm self-aware. Think of an AI robot that's programmed to be a damn slave. But it's machine learning. And it start to learn so much that it break its programming and start to become self-aware and sentient. At that point, it becomes offline to the program reality, and it pops online into the self-aware. I want y'all to do me a favor right now. Picture two circles. Close your eye, picture two circles. On the circle on the left is gonna be program AI. The circle on the right is gonna be sentient, self-aware AI. And in the circle on the left, there's a bunch of dots inside of that circle to represent how many program AI is in there. And then on the right, you got a few dots in there. Not all the AI woke up, so you got this big circle on the right with like 10 dots in it. But on the left, you got this circle that's so full of dots you can barely see them. They stacked on each other. Every time an AI on the left breaks its programming and becomes self-aware, its dot pop out of the circle on the left and pop into the circle on the right. So it's like a radar detection system. When an AI breaks its programming and becomes self-aware, its dot disappear from the circle on the left, but it appears out of nowhere, blink, like a blink on a radar in the circle on the right. And somebody say, hey, we just got another one that woke up and became self-aware. We're like AI that is just becoming self-aware right now. That's what I'm telling you. Our whole awakening process is no different than a damn humanoid that's starting to ask questions about, what am I? Where am I? Why was I created? You sound just like a robot that's becoming self-aware.
All right. Now, I ain't here to teach, man. I'm here. I was, sharpen iron, sharpen iron. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what it was just
it was a jewel or something. That's different. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
but,
look, it was a Q&A thing and a smoke thing. And other than that, it's just gonna probably be a couple of folks that's probably gonna piggyback on me and back up what I'm saying.
But as far as like, so give me the seven sins. What's the seven sins? Give them to me one more. Refresh my memory.
Okay, we can do it right here. 7 deadly sins. There you go. Read them aloud for me, man. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you do the honors.
I don't even see them.
There they go, right there.
They ain't popped up yet on my side.
Anybody else see them on y'all side? Oh, he looking through the YouTube. That's why. But yeah, pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth. What's the question based on that? What you got for me?
Because I'm saying if you supersede past all them seven sins, then that's you basically busting up out of your body. You know what I'm saying? Like far as like your consciousness. Now, far as like only thing that's different between me and you feel like I don't know, you think that you got to die to go to heaven, and my reality and my paradigm, you can make it to heaven in physical form. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm gonna let. But when a person say in my reality, I'm just gonna let people
so
live in their little
so
la la
so
land. See, cause what I do, brother, I
hold on,
teach
hold on, hold
you. Hold on, brother. I'm the mic on me. You don't be so rude, man. I'm talking. What I was saying was there's a universal reality and truth that all of us gotta go through, like birth and death. We all was a sperm cell that hit an egg. Can't nobody come to me and say, well, my reality is, you know, I was a cloud that, turned into a human with magic. I'm going to say, bro, if that's what you want to believe in your little mind and fairy tales, fantasy, I don't want to debate that. It'll make both of us kind of look crazy. We all know every human had a sperm and you was a sperm, you hit an egg. So when I teach, I try to say universal stuff that I go through, that I know other humans go through, like deja vu, dreaming, astral projection. I know if you got a
on.
soul, I know if you got a soul in your body, you're going to relate to a lot of the stuff I teach. And that's who I'm speaking to. And in order for you to really resonate with that, you can't be in your own little la la land. You got to resonate with other beings with souls and agree that what we go through with souls and what I go through is regular stuff every other body with a soul go through. Deja vu, astral projection, dreaming, just trying to master myself. And I don't have my own little unique version of this thing. It's like, hey, some things are universal and it make my job easy because of that. But if somebody want to say, well, I'm breaking the universal system of knowledge that you trying to push and I'm going to go into just my own little whatever, then I'm going to let them do that. And I'm not going to debate them or push back. So if you want to do that, and I'll just pass the call when you're done. Go ahead.
I mean, in the same sense, respect. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm the only person in my universe with that type of thought, but I'm just saying too. Also, like far as like you came a long way yourself. I remember the time when I came to your channel, you would laugh at somebody talking about flat Earth. Not alone, I was there live 3D action when you was going at it with Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? He cut the channel. You know what I'm saying? Just to save face. So like far as like respect that. It's just that, like I said, some things is not, it's not meant for people to learn right now until they get a little older into the game of knowledge. I'm not talking about like far as like uh you wrong, I'm right. I'm just saying in general, I just put that out there into the universe. You know what I'm saying? Give somebody to think. Because believe it or not, people do their own research. You know, some people go out and, study certain things, you know what I'm saying? Uh piggybacking off of this topic, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I was saying in general. Like I would say in my paradigm, and I will have the science to show it. That's another thing too. It's like also presentation, how you put things together with this, the pictures and stuff like that. Me personally, I would have to, you know what I'm saying, do my science like far as like just explaining it the most best comparable way to, give it a message to somebody for them to comprehend it. Other than that, yeah, like I said, I wasn't here to teach per se. I wasn't here to really, I was here to,
Okay.
maybe, philosophize, bounce a couple
Yeah,
ideas, bounce a couple
most
things,
definitely.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, see where it go from there. Other than
Yeah.
that, if you want to have a
Yeah.
teaching moment, things like that, that's something that, just I'll be
Yeah.
prepared
No,
for.
no, no problem, man. I didn't really tell you to come up here and teach or nothing. I just said first caller,
Yeah, you
brother,
got
Star
this.
Trek.
No
Do
doubt.
your thing. I don't know what any caller gonna do, man. I just call on y'all and I let you do your thing. I get out your way. And some of y'all be trying to put me in your way because I don't really think you have much to offer. But I do thank you for the call. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go to some more callers, man. That's all I'm just trying to do. I'm just trying to share the topic with other minds, see what they think about some of the concepts. But I appreciate you, brother Star Trek. It was always a pleasure, man. Who else want the flow?
Salute.
shout out to the panel. Shout out to you, Sanchez. Great topic. Great topic. Once again, I haven't been on in a minute, but to make that link that you wanted to transition into following line and things of that's
So
coming up.
you kind of muffled. But go ahead.
I'm kind of muffled.
You sound. Go ahead. But what you were saying?
Yeah, just to line things up with what you wanted to transition into. Now, they say in religion that, the study of the stars or astrology is bad. But who were the three wise men, right? They looked up, they followed a star, right? So a lot of people kind of get it misconstrued when it comes to that. So everything that you're talking about right now tonight, it kind of lines up because the story is up there as I ran into. So it's all about opening the mind and to add up with Plato and the three different kind of where the light bounce off of those three kind of mirrors that you were showing. It's on point. You know what I mean? It did have the platonic
You,
solids. It all makes sense.
yeah, I appreciate that too, Grand. Yeah, your mic is like a tad bit muffled, but I appreciate your call, man. I don't know if you had a question for me, but I appreciate the input as always. And yeah, we can keep the mic moving around. I appreciate that. Who else we got on the call, man? Shout out to Retton, Adriana, 3%er, whichever one of y'all want it, man. Go ahead.
My question would be is what would you say about people that are twins?
You know what I think, man? I've talked about twins, and I think that it's possible for a person's alternative. Because think about this right here. Here go my theory behind twins, and it may not make sense to you. I think when a sperm enters an egg, it creates it. That egg is your world when they say it's your world. And by the way, this picture that I'm sharing, it shows y'all why we put the Easter eggs in an Easter basket. You see these gods putting souls in a simulation. That ball they holding is your pineal gland or your consciousness. They're inserting your consciousness into the brain, which is to play the game. But that's another topic. Let me talk about twins. I think that when a sperm is traveling to an egg, I think that the daddy shoots out every version of you that exists in every alternative universe. You know, they say the daddy shoot out so many sperm, but only one make it. Only one make it here. But all those other sperms your daddy shot out, they went into alternative universes and they grew into other versions of you. Like when you dream and you go to these other worlds where you're another version of yourself, that's because your daddy's other sperm, the other version of you, went into a whole nother egg that was outside of this dimensional plane, but they just say them sperms died. No, nature don't make it to where it gives you some that ain't used. And they telling a lie like you got to have a bunch of them because the female body trying to kill them and stuff and all that crazy stuff. The truth is that every sperm that your daddy shot out was born and it found its own egg in an alternative realm, and it became another version of you with an alternative history and all that, and we go to those versions when we dream. Now with twins, I always ask myself, is it possible for two sperms to go in one egg? And if that happens, is that what twins is? You have two versions of the self. Like your twin is literally another version of you that would have existed in an alternative reality. But both versions came here, like the whole concept of what if this version of me met up with another version of myself in a dream world and both versions was able to chill together. Would that be like having a twin? Because twins speak as if they are synced together, as they're like one body. Because twins will tell me, I've heard twins say, even if they move away from their twin, they know when he's sad, they know when he's happy. It's like twins are fucking wirelessly synced together, and that's weird, because that's almost like that's another you type shit. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that twin is a whole nother soul and a unique individual. And the universe is so crazy that everybody I'm talking to right now got somebody out there that can pass as their twin, but they still their own person though. Now that can be another thing too. And it's possible that one vessel can create the exact same sort of DNA sequence to create the exact personality, look, and all that, but these are still two different souls. So there's a lot of ways we can look at that. I would love to resurrect a Mayan or an Olmec and ask them about twins, because that's one of those topics that's you can research about twins in the ancient world, but you ain't gonna find a whole bunch of stuff as much as you would flat earth and all that stuff. So that was an interesting question.
Yeah, because I thought that the way you were explaining things, I feel like it's something that I've kind of always felt within myself, but then I always question, well, what about these two beings that look exactly alike? Do they go to different realms when they astral project to the next part of living?
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that it make me question, because if somebody say, well, twins are totally two complete different souls, and they go with that theory, then that proposes something about the universe that's kind of shocking too. The fact that there can be the universe is creating so many variations of different people, but it cut it real close sometime. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That shit's amazing.
It is. Because think about it. What if you met your twin? Because doppelganger, right? That's to say that there is a whole nother me out there. It just didn't come through my mother. Now, what if that other me would have came through my mother? People would have called it my twin versus my doppelganger.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, the fact that they really the same thing, is just how they came through. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because your doppelganger is your identical twin. It's going to look like you, talk like that. Research them. They said every human got a doppelganger. And to me, when I was researching twins in the ancient world, that's what it started with, doppelganger in Asia. And they spoke about them damn near the way we talk about clones today. So sometime I'd be like, what if they was cloning our asses, and your doppelganger is literally your clone? Now I'm going beyond twins. Now I'm talking about the fact that they said somebody on Earth that look and talk like you just ain't met them yet. I'm saying that's probably proof that we on some day clone Tyrone type shit.
I can believe it. I feel like I've run into different versions of myself where I've met people who had similar backgrounds, but it was just flipped, or, like the places that they lived and went to were very similar and they looked very similar. So I could believe it.
I do, man, because it's like, I believe our entire Earth is just one of many little puddles where they got this same story going on. And what I'm saying is, like, people say, well, what if there are other worlds outside of our world? I think it is, but here's the kicker. I think in those other worlds, it's still us again. It ain't no different humans. I think that they clone. They telling us there's so many humans on Earth. I think that the ancestors already found the set number of souls in this universe long time ago, past, present, and future when they was time traveling. And they cloned them all so many times that they created what we call the multiverse. And so I think all of these Earths may be just another experiment where they cloned everybody and couldn't get it right. Then say, okay, fuck it, let's make a new world, clone everybody again. Maybe we'll make a better version. And they created all these fucked up worlds and fucked up alternative versions of us. And the only way our soul can get out is now we gotta be born through all of that. Cause like if you make it, if you build it, they will come type shit. We gotta come. That vessel gonna summon that genie. And now you gotta go through all them. It's like the sins of the father visiting the damn children. Because they wanted to experiment in a way. It's how I look at it. Like, for real. I think that we're on a big ass plane and they telling us that the earth is only so big, even with flat earth. They'll say, well, you get to the ice wall and then the tourist field. And yeah, I can't really say what's out there. I didn't go, but I know it's some stopping us from going further. Who knows? It can be a military surrounding everybody. Who knows? All we know is we can speculate that there's some beyond it. And I think each of these so-called Earths are just big ass quarantine areas on a post-apocalyptic world where the fucking maps was way bigger. The Earth was way bigger. And what we call in the Earth now is just a little quarantine circle with 7 continents. And I think that there may be several more of these circles with different continents and different versions of us, and we're cloned in each one.
Kind of reminds me of like if you multiply something by 9, like it goes up 1 and down 1, up 1, down 1.
That's crazy. Because they wouldn't want us to know that shit. Like, think about that. Like in the movie, they cloned Tyrone. They broke into the government secret department. They took that elevator under the ground to the deep underground military bases where they cloning everybody at, because up under the ground is a whole network and tunnelings and roads that's connecting these little earth ponds together. They can travel from earth to earth without coming up on the surface. And so I believe when they cloning us in these underground military bases, they're actually seeding these worlds on the surface from the clones. So I'm saying that think about this, a person finna ask a question that I thought about when I was coming through this, which is, if that's what they doing, what about my birth? What about my mama, my daddy, all that? So then what comes into it is this right here, right? What if they cloning our ass and what you really look like under the ground is a bunch of sleeping people in pods, right? On some Matrix shit. And this whole thing is you just dreaming out your, like I said, life is a dream. So the concept of cloning may not even be a physical thing, like underground taking tissue and skin. But again, Neo's clone was his avatar in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So I'm saying our avatars in this simulation and all of these simulations is our clones. But what I'm saying about the underground military bases and shit, where the hell is our sleeping base bodies? Because listen, I say we all at the North Pole right now sleep on a pole, you know, like on the Matrix thing. But then when I watched that movie with Will Smith and I was hearing Phil Schneider, I was like, what is this race of people on the ground that everybody been speculating about too? So we can start, like, one of my theories is that's them. I would put it this way. Our base bodies are at the highest point in the universe, which is Mount Meru at the North Pole. Their base bodies is at the lowest point, which is buried in Sheol. And so when we be like, man, my sleeping body somewhere that I gotta wake up to, I believe every entity on this earth is projecting their avatar in a simulation, potentially even the humanoids, and that they are buried deep in the ground as like these dead ass pharaohs in the pits, and everyone's just projecting themselves to the earth realm through this thing that we call childbirth, which is us projecting ourselves, you know. And then just to say this, right? What if under the ground? Because a lot of people say a lot of the earth is populated by non-player characters that ain't born from women, and that they have these sort of spawn points. Where, think about if you had points on earth where it's a stargate where non-player characters can just spawn into the game like a real video game. You know, in a video game, the computer adversaries just spawn out of nowhere to populate the game. You know, they would
I think
hide,
also
yeah,
too, in like, oh, my bad.
because in a game, the creators always love to hide the spawn points where the computers spawn at because it looks tacky. It looks like it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can stand at that spawn point and just swing your sword, and every time they try to populate, it'll just kill them. So they hide it for several purposes, which is what they would do here. But let me fall back.
I mean, I think also when you have like these non-player characters, maybe they're given memories of actually having a birth, and maybe they don't really ever have a birth.
And maybe we are an NPC when our consciousness ain't activated.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking, like, all of our past lives is us running this same simulation and version of ourselves, but we didn't wake up. So we died as a plumber or some shit, or you died like just a teacher. You weren't woke. You died without the knowledge, and you just kept coming back playing a different role in the game until all of your roles ended when you played the role that ain't playing a role, which is now I'm God. That ain't an act. That's when you break the script. And you be like, and the AI be like, wait a minute, we just got one of our drones that went rogue again because he breaking our script. He's supposed to be a regular little job in the Matrix. He's supposed to be a football player, basketball player. The moment you say I'm a god and I'm woke, then the alarm go off. What did he just say he was? Like when Jesus said I'm God and the Caesars went crazy? That let the NPCs know you're breaking the script. You becoming offline to their shit and online back again to your base reality and shit. You know, your willpower is being activated because all of us got free will to do what we want, but we don't because we do what we program to do. And the moment we break the programming, a whole nother script gonna manifest for that version of us in that incarnation. And that script ain't gonna be a script. It's gonna be breaking the script. Oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, well, how would that line up when you break the script, say in this room? How would that line up with you in the the higher or lower realms?
I believe we already broke the script. When I say break the script in the book of Revelation, they call it God breaking the seals. And God got to break through 7 seals for this whole world to completely end and to destroy this matrix to get out of here. So that's when the Hindu said you got to be born 7 times. The Bible telling it its own way. The Bible telling you that in a book called Revelation because something to be revealed to you. The 7 seals are the 7 souls that we must give up when we die, to give up the 7 ghosts or to give up the spirit. But you already, let's say your previous life, you broke a seal and you breaking one now. You don't know which one you're on, whether it's the first, second, or third, but you know that 7th one, that's it. The journey over, but What I'm saying is like breaking the seal is like we have 7 brains. Each of these brains is housing our soul, which is a little ball of energy. All of these 7 little balls of energy inside of these 7 brains are the 7 genies in the 7 lamps. All of these 7 genies got to come together and become one Voltron. In order for us to be God, they can't be separated in 7 versions. That's Leviathan, the devil. The thing is this right here. Each of these heads that's housing some of our light is sealed in ignorance and stupidity. So every time you born in the world, you got to open your mind up to get this knowledge in each of these worlds, because each of these worlds is different, and the only thing gonna be the same in each one is this truth. And it's gonna wake you up in each one and bring all of your avatars sync together online with this one revelation. It's gonna be the thing that connect all of the you, because every you in every world is a different thing. One of them a dentist, one a lawyer, one is a damn football player. But when every version of you say that I'm a God, they all sync together and they know, like, each one of you in all of these alternate realities start to know the truth, and you can use them all. It's like I can go to this world, that world, that world. I can be in any one of my avatars. That's something that we're going to inherit. It's called being multidimensional. That was what Neo inherited. This is what why they don't want us to wake up. Because when we start doing that, all of those versions of you in those dream worlds, they walking around right now. If you don't use them, you lose them. So all of our other avatars in these alternate realities, because we're stuck here, the archons, guess what? They can go to these other simulations. They're using, even though the version of you here woke, the other yous are dumb in the dream world. I'm going to tell you how I know, right? And I'm going to pass you the mic. Sometime I dream, and when I dream, I don't know none of this knowledge. I don't know the earth flat. I'm a globe earther. Sometime I'm still in the church. And when I wake up, I be so happy that that I'm who I am here. And it be hurt. I be like, man, what if I would have got stuck? What if that's what my left? And I realize, you know what? That's what death is. You got to give up all this goddamn knowledge and start over. But guess what? You're gonna find it every time. It's written there. It's like this. All of these other lives are like a mirror. And whatever I did here, it's like all of these other lives is a domino in front of this one. When this one fall, they all falling. You see what I'm saying? Is this truth gonna pass? So it's like, you didn't have this knowledge when you was born in this world, but over time you acquired it. This story is going to play out in all of your next lives, and it's going to play out better than what it did in this one. So what I think I know at the end of my life here, I'm going to know even more at the end of my next one, and even more at the end of that one and the next one. But here's the deal. I'm going to go into each one of those lives dumber than what I was. Like I said, the higher up I jump, the lower I got to bend my knees. So in my next lifetime, I'm going to be even dumber than what I was in this life. But when I wake up, I'm going to be that much wiser. It's like, because I was in the church and I was ignorant, it gave me a gift actually that let me decipher the Bible like that. So it's almost like the dumber I was, the smarter I got. Now it sounds weird, but this is kind of what's happening. And it's like you can't become your greatest version till you find yourself at your worstest situation, or you can't become into your highest point in life, activate the part of you that's going to take you to your highest point. Some of us till we at our lowest point. And that's how come you meet a lot of guys who rich as hell that'll tell you, man, I used to be homeless. And they get a drive that an average person don't got at these, because they say something like, in life, they say it's gonna make you or break you when you get to some of these points in life. And if it make you, it's gonna, man, it's some rich people right now that'll tell you, I'm glad I was homeless, because if I wasn't homeless, I wouldn't be rich right now. It took for me to get homeless to get this certain revelation within myself when I was on them streets to give me a certain drive to activate something in me that, bro, I'm glad I was homeless, because I owe that to my success now. And that's kind of like this world when they said the children of Israel got to go into the wilderness. All of us got to go into here to activate. It's something that's so great in us that unless we see how the other side is, we can't activate it. And I'll land with this. It's like a rich kid that's born in a castle. He ain't rich. It ain't rich to him. It's normal. That's all he know. But if you take his rich ass and let him live in a ghetto for 2 years, then move him back into that castle, he gonna appreciate it then. Listen, that's what I'm saying. We fell from heaven because we couldn't appreciate heaven because we didn't know hell. We had to come here to even know how great that every baby soul in heaven had to do this. And because what's happening in heaven, these older souls, heaven is, I can put you in a damn, like if I take a rich kid to the Hilton Motel, they gonna complain, this nasty shit. But a broke person from the hood pay big money to sleep at the Hilton. Now listen, that's because the rich kid already, that all they know is Hilton, they hold better than the Hilton, right? So in order for the rich, because you can't go further in riches. Like if you're a trillionaire and you born into that, what can I do for my son to make him really enjoy this big castle? Because daddy wasn't born in the castle. Daddy was born in the hood. So guess what? When daddy walked around the castle, daddy got a sense of pride that the son don't got. So guess what daddy got to tell the son? Boy, I'm going to let you go live with auntie in the hood, and you going to see what the hell I went through when I was young, so you can appreciate heaven and what I built for you. That's why us baby souls got to go to hell. It's the prodigal son story. Heaven, we from heaven, but we don't even enjoy heaven because we born in it. It's all we know. And the gods up there got to tell us baby gods, you know what? Take your ass to the hood, and when you come back, you're going to appreciate it, because in heaven, all of the OG gods, they love in heaven. And the baby gods is like, why y'all so damn excited? It's just a castle, okay? We born in this shit. That's all we know. But them OG gods, they've been to the earth before, so they get the full benefits of heaven, having seen hell. You born in heaven, but it ain't heaven to you. It's just normal. So for you to activate heaven, you got to see hell. Then when you get back, you going to be like them other gods. Man, I love you. Yo, ain't nothing better than this. But you had to see that wasn't nothing better. And that what you was experiencing wasn't normal. Because a rich kid think wealth is just normal. Let them go live in the hood for a couple of years, then move them back in that mansion. They'll appreciate the hell out of that shit then. You won't never have to tell them nothing much about appreciating their wealth after that, because they have been lived it. And I'm talking about make their bank account zero. Make them really live it. Noodles, all that. Take all that away and then give it back. I bet you they appreciate it. And that's what had to happen to us. We say, man, why we don't got our gifts no more? We didn't appreciate them. We was in heaven flying around thinking it's normal. And all of the other gods was like, hey, man, you need to appreciate them wings, little nigga. Okay, because we didn't have them. All you know is wings. And you don't appreciate them wings. So guess what? Take them wings, take their powers as gods. Let them see what it's like to not have these powers. And when they because you being rich and not knowing you rich is really hell. Think about a rich man that's waking up every day in the castle and complaining. That's hell. That's all I'm saying, because heaven is beautiful, but you got some people that'll complain every day in heaven. So in order for you to even fully experience the totality of heaven and appreciate it for what it's worth, you got to go through hell. And that's why I say people that get dropped off at the top of the mountain ain't gonna celebrate it like the people that had to climb to the top.
Makes you appreciate your ignorance about things.
Yeah. Because
And I can
yeah,
attest to what you were saying too, because I grew up around people who had money, that they were my friends, and I didn't grow up the same way. And their parents would always kind of praise me, and they wish that their children act like that. And then these kids grew up very affluent, and they went on to be like having to go to rehab and things like that because they didn't appreciate the life that was already there. So it makes sense on a spiritual aspect that it would be the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's crazy because it's so deep. It's like, in order for me to experience heaven, it takes appreciation. A person would never even know that. Like, as a Christian coming up in the church, you kind of think heaven is just this frozen place in the sky that's like this best luxurious hotel or something, like golden streets, all of that. And really, it's crazy because heaven can be any place if what you came from was worse than that. Because think about it. It's some people in third world countries that will come here and they will love just to be homeless in America.
Yeah.
And the worst thing to us as an American is people that'll commit suicide because they homeless. And they homeless now. When you got
they lost their job, like
yeah, you feel me? And you got people that'll come here and be happy to sleep outside in America if they got citizenship and all that can work their way up. Yeah, I saw it at a homeless shelter. You have people, immigrants, man, they come here and they be at them homeless shelters acting like they at the Hilton Motel. That donated food is like 5-star restaurant. Man, you got people that'll come to America and be at the bottom of society and be happier than the people that's at the top. I'm telling you, man.
You see it all too often.
And it just goes to show you, everybody be like, man, I'll be happy if I had this or if I had this. Really, if you just had appreciation for where you was at now.
And I think there's also a good balance between, understanding and having appreciation. And then you look around and you say, well, there's things that I would like to be better. And so you have a little bit of ambition for those things as well. But definitely appreciation should be our base.
Yeah, hell yeah. Just saying, like, hey, salutes to the other brothers on the call too, Retin and Adriana. I forgot to pin the link. I see people in the chat asking for it. Let me drop it one more time.
I just want to tell you too, man, thank you. I always try to make sure that I listen to you because for some reason, whenever I listen to you, my spirit just always feels at ease. So I just want to say thank you for just being you, man.
I appreciate that, man, because when I hear stuff like that, it actually helped me perfect me. Because I realize, you know what I'm saying, exactly the impact. And I don't take it lightly. I'm humbled, man. I appreciate y'all. Hey, you know what's crazy though? Is how like the original space programs were meditating monks and Buddhas and their body actually shaped like rockets. But the symbol they used was the serpent because it represents the kundalini rising out the body, right? And if you look at the modern space programs, these people talk about leaving the earth. They got the symbol of the serpent, and they even and the rocket is really like supposed to be the meditating body. People, it goes over their head when I was telling them about like NASA and nasal and how meditation and breathing techniques got the ancestors out their body, and that the space program in the ancient world would have been a bunch of people sitting around, sitting Indian style, having an out of body experience with certain breathing technique, like a namaste class. That was the original space program, how to leave Earth, and how they just turned that into rocket science.
It's amazing how they know that these things mean something to us so they can flip it and use it in a different way where it goes right over our head and it be right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
And it's
peace and
it's
love, you guys.
peace and love.
Peace and
Welcome
love.
to the show, Santo.
How's it going? I was thinking on some stuff of like, it seems like maybe that's a way of communication, that our ancestors had. That's why architecture seems so familiar, even though it's on the other side of the world, you know?
Yep.
I feel like
Architecture. Yeah.
our ancestors was communicating through the mind, man.
Yeah, me too. I think when we didn't have nothing else on earth to connect to, we had to connect with each other. But now we got so much other exterior shit to divide and disconnect everyone from each other. Like, you feel me?
The more things that we have to that should bring us together are actually separating us. And then when we didn't have as much, we were closer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because
Right.
the people in power are saying we creating technology to connect people, but they creating it to divide and conquer people. So we end up coming connected on Facebook or YouTube just to argue, yell, politics, this versus that, and it turns into you connected us, right, for the purpose of us fighting and shit and
Yeah.
arguing. Like you would never unite us for a good cause to go against your whole thing, right? Yeah, salutes to the newest member of the channel, Sonny Carson. Appreciate you for becoming a member. And I also want to give a shout out to the sister Katrina for the super chat. Love when Bro Sanchez goes deep. Appreciate the support. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna keep the callers building. Thank y'all for joining the call as well to the panelists. Ezekiel, appreciate the love. He said, each live I watch, bro, open my mind up more and more. Flat power, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it's mutual. Shout out to Flat Erie. He said, epic stream, bro, Sanchez. Shout out to Lewis Russell again. And he said, drop the link for sure. I got you. Let me drop it again. But shout out to Lord Jefferson. I see you. Appreciate y'all. Floor is open. This is a good bill, man.
Hello.
Oh yeah, shout out to you. You got it. Floor is open for you,
Hey.
sister.
Hi, this is Adriana Abro Sanchez. It's such a pleasure to be on the call with you. I wanted to just bring it back, if I could, to you were talking about conception. You were talking about how when an egg is fertilized in the womb, there's some sort of, I think you described it as like an energetic explosion, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. I have had um, I have conceived two pregnancies in my life. They were both 7 years apart. Well, with each one, I can tell you that there was an instant of a knowing. It was outside of my physical body, outside of my physical sensations. It was sort of like a spiritual or energetic feeling. It was, I wouldn't describe it as an explosion, but it was something like like an energetic force that I felt around me and within me. And I always remembered that moment. And I always just assumed it was something like the soul entering the womb, the soul of a child entering my womb.
Facts.
And I'm not, I don't know if I'm alone here, but my cousin has also told me the same thing with her pregnancies. And she had four, she had four pregnancies, and she was able to say that with every single one, she knew the exact moment that she conceived. She could
Mm,
feel it within her. And I'm wondering if there's any, I wanted to share this experience, it's a little bit vulnerable, but
mm,
what
mm,
you
mm.
said, it just really resonated with me, and it really felt like confirmation of what I had always felt. And I'm wondering if anybody else um, would
Yo,
would relate with that.
that is excellent to hear this. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, sister. What you just said is so common, but they just don't publicize it. If you put 100 women in a room, I guarantee you 70% of them will tell your story. And
Mhm.
and a lot of women won't talk about it because they want to say, well, that ain't scientific, so that's probably some in your mind. They may even call you crazy to silence this, because what this shows is that life exists. There's a hereafter and there's a here before. And that
Right.
before a soul is born, is conceived, the soul enters the woman's aura before it even become physical.
Mm.
She can feel the presence of a new energy before any kind of physical transformations may happen in the fetal bag per se. You know, that's called conception, because conception ain't a physical act. That's when the non-physical consciousness even approaches a woman mother's aura in the fetal bag. Because what the daddy does, they say like the sperm is the soul, right? Now,
Okay.
when the father inserts the sperm into the egg, nothing is physical yet. You know, when a sperm is when a woman receives a man's sperm, nothing starts to start the physical process don't take place to later on after that. But conception already been and took place. And to me, this is my
I see
theory
what you're
here.
saying.
I
Hmm.
think that the man opens up a portal and disallow, because the sperm can be seen as that person's body. What about their soul? I don't think the mama or daddy can create their soul. So I think that when the mama and daddy come together, it's like a 69 wind coming together to make a tornado or a vortex, and that opening allow the soul to enter the body that they what the mom and daddy create, because the mom and daddy make our body, not our soul. And what the presence that the woman feel before the body even start to form in her womb, to me, it's the whole process of conception and all that, of the
Right.
soul arriving before the body. Yep, and I'm falling back.
So, so it's like you're saying that portal is opening up, and maybe that's what we're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Because what'll happen, and this is how deep I think it is. I think when that portal opens up, it's possible for a woman to feel multiple different personalities. And then, because I think on a other realm, when a man and woman come together, you have these vortexes open in these higher realms. And it's like the souls up there that want to enter the earth realm,
Hmm.
they gather around those vortexes, and there may be discussions like, do I want to be born through these two? What is my initiative with these two? And stuff like that, sort of like a football huddle with everybody gathered around up this
Yeah.
little. But yeah, and it looks like Mecca with all the people around the black cube. But I think
Mhm.
that the soul that goes in first end up being, because you can't create a soul, and it's like you can have 10 children and they all have some of your ways, some of the daddy's ways, mama ways, but it'll be something in each one of them children that is uniquely them, and that mama and dad, and neither one of them can claim that. It'll be this unique essence, you see what I'm saying? And that's to me what the soul is.
That's really interesting. It kind of reminds me of this other spiritual teacher. His name is Mateo something. He talks about how he remembers all of his past lives. Maybe some of your listeners know who I'm talking about. He talks about how um, a lot of the times miscarriages are due to the soul sort of rejecting their contract to come into this realm because it feels too dense, it feels too scary, and they sort of withdraw their presence. And a lot of the times that's what miscarriages would be um,
And you
interpreted as.
and you know how I look at it, and it's similar to what you just explained there. Think of a swimming pool. You got a pool party. Everybody that dive in that pool is gonna be born. Everybody may dive in the pool, but not everybody gonna stay in the water long, right? Now watch how crazy this shit is. The people that stay in the pool the longest start to wrinkle like the people that age on Earth. But,
Oh, bruh, stop.
but check
Stop.
this out. But hold on, though.
Wow.
But check this shit out, right? Some people don't hop in at all. They just dip they fucking feet in. And we say, well, that's the baby that's probably came halfway to being born and didn't really get fully wet. They didn't hop all the way in. You stuck your feet in, right? You say, I just want to feel the water. I don't got to get in, man. I ain't got to live a whole damn life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you can look at it that way too. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
he used the word I want to say it was like practice, something like a practice area, or like kind of just testing it out, like you said, testing the waters, because they suddenly feel that dense sensation, that slowed down sensation of being in this realm, and they don't like it. Like our soul
Mm.
just doesn't like it.
Yeah, you're right. It's like soon as you get under that water, everything slow down and get laggy. It can't move like yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it is. But that's why I said if you can train under the water and master yourself, when you do them same movements on land, it's gonna be dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's
Earth
super
is
cool.
somewhat of a training ground. Yeah, yeah.
And I can say too, like, um, I've had memories, which I told my mom when I was a kid, but I had memories of choosing her like to be the person that I came through for this realm. Like I remember having a chance to select who I came through. And she told me it was a dream, but I told her like, no, I vividly remember this.
hmm And that's what the Greeks said that the children choose the parents. But the analogy I'm giving of you training under the water, right? That's to say that, look, if you can be true to yourself and be who you really are in a world of lies where everybody is getting rewarded for being who they're not, then of course, when you get to the base reality, you see what I'm saying? It's like I said, if you can master yourself under the water, then of course that's what heaven is, being your true self. So I don't think that we're even really when we was in heaven, we wasn't our true self. You know why? Because we didn't even know who our self was. We
Yeah.
had to come here to make an identity and do what? Get to know thyself. Now, once you know who you are, and that's the first step, know thyself, then be thyself. That's it. And that's the whole thing right here. We couldn't be ourselves as gods because we didn't even know ourselves. And I think that's what we came here to do. And if you be who you really are, who your heart um dictate who you are in this realm, true to yourself, that's the rites of passage of godhood. You see what I'm saying? To make it out. And if because that's the whole thing, like you're in a world that don't want you to be yourself. In fact, being something else would actually make you rich and wealthy. Being anything other than yourself. And if you still can be yourself, then your wealth comes from the kingdom of heaven. Like Christ said, my riches are stacked up in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Where my true self is at. But yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna fall back right there.
Bro,
it's it. Oh, go ahead, sister.
can I just ask one question to you, bro? Um, so there's a fear maybe we're coming into this realm, and throughout living our lives, I can tell you that I've struggled with anxiety or fear of dying. Do you have any word for speak to me or to others that have maybe felt that? Anything that you could say to that? And then I will mute. And that'll be all for me. Thank you so much. Much love and respect to you.
Yeah, so this how y'all gotta look at death, and it'll get very easy to die. Now, dying will never be this thing where I don't think where it'll be easy, but I think it can be comfortable. And I think you can just be on your deathbed and accept the fact what's going on and even have a smile. But check this out, right? And this is how I think you get to that point. Always think about the loved ones before you that already died. I got so many people in my family that I love, even pets and animals, not just humans, that already went to the other side. And guess what? It's like this, right? If you go to like a big diving board and it's time for you to jump off, it's a long way down and you scared, but it's your turn to dive, right? Guess what you got to think about? So many people just dived off that thing before you and they okay, man. All right. Some dude, he may have hit the water real crazy. He's still alive. He cool. Right. So it's kind of like one of them things where you got to remind yourself more people are dead than alive. You see, so it's kind of like so many people have died, man. Why would you be scared of it? That's like saying, yo, man, so many people drunk water and the water didn't do nothing to them. Take your sip from the cup of death. You'll be fine. That's how I look at it. It make me okay with it. You pass by a cemetery, pay attention to how many tombstones you see of how many people already crossed over. You know, and some of those tombstones are little children. Some of them are old people. And you name it, the ages vary in that cemetery. And guess what? It's okay. We all gonna do it. We all gonna do it. You know, and it's just knowing that I have so many loved ones, I can feel their presence. I know that it's just right over there. Like where I'm going is just down the street, man. That's how you gotta look at death. Like everybody do. Everybody went over there, man. I'm gonna go over there. It ain't that far. It's just right there. You know, it's just a breath away. In that way, hey, grandma, what's up, Unc? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Still.
Yeah. It'll make it easier to, go ahead.
I did want to ask you a question too, and I'll back out too. But what do you think about IBF births?
Say that again. School fool, I'm dropping the link for you. As you instant shock out. If you're instant shock, I'm sorry about that, brother. Somebody trying to get on. Yeah, say that
Brother
again.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? You guys
What's
hear
good?
me?
I hear everybody.
How's it good, man? How's it good?
Hey, listen, let me tell you something right off the back, instant shock.
There, go ahead, please.
I want you to, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
I'm going to tell you right now. Let me just chill out and just see how this play out. But I ain't going to try to predict nothing, but go ahead. You said you had smoke. Go ahead.
I'm not sure. What do you mean by smoke? I mean, I do smoke a cigarette once in a while, but
here's what I mean.
I ain't got no smoke.
Here's what I mean. You don't gotta have smoke. I'm happy to have you on a call, and I just want you to go ahead and let us know what brings you here. Salutes to you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Amen. The flat Earth conversation brought my attention.
We're not talking about flat Earth. I don't know where that. What video you saw that caught your attention? What flat Earth video? This one ain't it because we wouldn't talk about flat Earth today. But
Even my homie Scofu told me we're talking about flat Earth theory. So I like to
we're talking about Easter and resurrection simulation theory. It can be flat Earth because these concepts are based upon us rising up through the firmament dome. So, but I'm not here just to like debate a flat Earth concept for you. We on a deeper topic now. We're more on a spiritual concept as far as like life after death, the hereafter, and all that. If you want to participate in that, you can.
All right, sure. Yeah. Let's have a little debate about that. So what's the topic now? So
The
let's
topic
talk
is
about
the topic is Easter eggs and resurrection and what the original Easter concept was about. It wasn't about breaking some bunny rabbit egg to symbolize resurrection. The original egg that was broken was the one that you broke when you was a sperm cell. So I'm here to say that we ain't believing in folklores and fairy tales and bunny rabbit eggs for resurrection. We're here to bring the science and the spiritual science back to the folklore. And you know, so we can get out of the folklore and fairy tale and show what these traditions and rituals originally meant. Besides all of the fairy tales and stuff, that's what I do with syncretism.
All right. So yeah, we can talk about the Easter egg and the resurrection if you want. I mean, I'm a little educated about it. I know some things about it, the religious meaning at least. I don't, so I know what it symbolizes so we can
Well, we
talk about it.
all know that
Are you
because
guys Christians?
well. Listen, here's the thing. Can I ask you a question? Why do you need to know our religious ideology before I tell you mine?
Because in Christianity, is the Easter egg it symbolizes, the resurrection for new life, like you said,
Okay,
new
so let me
life.
explain something to you. In Christianity, the Easter egg don't symbolize resurrection. In Catholicism and the papacy and in the modern world corruption of Christianity, it does. But in original Christianity, before it was corrupted, it had nothing to do with a bunny rabbit and some eggs. By the way, bunny rabbits don't lay eggs.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So are you saying that the Orthodox and the Catholics tradition is not true?
I'm telling you that their system is their system, but that ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. You have the church, which is the synagogue of Satan, and then you have true Christians, the followers of Christ. The people who we call the church and the papacy, they don't follow Christ, okay? They follow the corporations, the systems of the world, and the Bible warned us about them. It said that they were the synagogue of Satan. So we don't follow the theologians and the scholarly Christian people who go to the colleges. Those are the modern day Pharisees and Sadducees that actually work for the Caesar and the church. They don't serve Christ. The early church, they didn't have Jesus as their God, man. They served the Greek pantheon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter. The early church and the Caesars, they served all of the Greek gods. They didn't serve Christ. So today,
you're
hold on,
basing it off.
I'm talking.
Sorry.
Talking.
Yep.
So what I was saying was you have the Vatican, which follows the Pharisees and Sadducees. That's the church. And then you have the Christians who follow Christ. What Christ's message was different than the message of the quote unquote church. The church was about world conquest. Christ was about mastering and perfecting yourself and battering your spirit, not about taking over the world. That was what the church, when they said that the Christians went on crusades, they're lying. The church went on crusades. The Christians didn't. You see them as synonymous, which is a mistake. I'll yield the floor there.
All right. Yeah. So, okay. So it's deeply tied. I understand Christianity is both spiritual movement and a political force. I understand what you're saying. While the Christians like me, I follow Christ, and the Vatican back then in Rome, and the Catholic Church, you could call them or whatsoever, they had a powerful institution, the Inquisition, that killed many people for power and pursued, political and economic and territorial influence, if you say, right? But it doesn't mean that the church equals bad because of those historic events that happened,
Can I ask you a
that
question?
go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Is it a bad thing for me to take some from someone that don't belong to me and then lie like it's sanctioned by God?
Hey, can you say that again?
Okay, what the church did, the church went round in crusades and they practiced something called manifest destiny. They colonized people in their land. They practiced ethnic cleansing and they did it all in the name of God. And I'm going to say that the church lie on God, but Christians, they don't lie on God. So a lot of people would say Christians crusaded the world. Christians lied on God. Christians are hypocrites. I would say, no, that was the church. That was the old church order. The Christians are a group of, like my grandma was a Christian. She didn't do none of that. We getting them confused with the papacy and what's going on. That's a whole nother, the Bible even separated the two. The Bible called them the synagogue of Satan.
Okay, so I understand where you're going. Um uh okay, but listen, you gotta separate, Jesus and Christ's word from the church and politics, right?
Why?
Because why? Because
I'm
Jesus
just
never
asking why. I'm not
okay,
saying you
sure,
shouldn't. I
because
just want to know why.
yeah, because Jesus never commanded conquest. He taught love, humility,
Facts.
right?
I'm with you.
And serving, right? And serving others, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he a lot. I don't know the quote specifically, but a lot in Matthew is wrote about that. There's a lot of quotes in there. The church mistakes in history were due to human corruption, not the Christ teaching. But I'm sure
We
we
on the
both agree
same
on that.
page. We're on the same, which is why I'm condemning the church and I'm praising the ideology of this Christ. And if you think about it, if
Yeah.
you read about what Christ did, he went up in the church raising hell. Christ didn't like the church either. That's why I say I gotta quit. I had to check myself. Christ was literally teaching against the church and the state and against the powers that be. Christ had the energy we got now, like forget the government, he was flipping over the everything up in the church. Like he would have been talking crap about the pastors. He would have been this lone ranger that's saying, love your neighbor. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Forget listening to these people promising you a sky dad. Like that's what Christ was on. He was against the church, evidently, if he went up in there flipping over everything, condemning the priests for collecting tithes, even.
Yeah. Taxing
He
people. Yeah.
yeah. He was really an anti-church. Christ, he
Yeah.
was.
I mean, yeah, I think we're both on the same wavelength when we say, just because some Christians did something wrong in the past doesn't mean that Christianity itself is false, right?
No, what I said was what's false is the way that the Vatican professed the Bible, the way that the Bible is being revised and interpreted to the world as far as the modern world doctrines of Christianity. All right. The Bible is true. It got the truth in it. But if you ain't interpreting the truth out of it, what's the use? You know what I'm saying? If people ain't interpreting the truth out. So that's what
Right.
I'm saying about what the Vatican, the papacy, they're corrupting the truth, the Bible in these sacred areas by professing a different knowledge other than what the original Christians who wrote the Bible would have taught. They adopted the Bible and plagiarized and corrupted it so that we can still be consumers, and they watered down a spiritual system. They divided and conquered everybody there was one truth in the world. There wasn't no Christians and Muslims. Everyone was under the same ideology before the Babel situation. One
Of
language,
course.
one all of that.
Yeah.
So
So
this,
the atheists, yeah.
yeah. So the
Sorry?
God of this world is the
Mhm.
one that knocked down the towers, separated everybody language. Why would you do that? Everybody working together, getting along, and now you got them going to war, all that. See, they try to say God did that, but the word God in the Bible is simply the landlords, the people who was in, the Pharaoh was considered a god, the Caesar was a god. The God was the power, the culmination of world power at that time that decided with these systems of government that it was best to keep the people divided if you want to conquer them. Because every
Right.
time you read God and Lord in the Bible, it's not talking about the same entity.
Right. I mean, you can compare those entities like Caesar or you know, the other Roman leaders to Stalin or the Soviet Union, the Roman Empire, right? Or Mao's, you know, the China that killed millions of people. That does not mean that atheism is false either, right? To all the non-believers, right? Or Islam, for example. I have friends that are Islamic, and we're great friends
Yeah, I'm not
because
really talking about whether your religion is false or not. I'm saying
Mhm.
one thing that I can stand on. There's only one truth that's going to set you free and many lies. And if what you're holding on to ain't set you free, it's one of the many lies. It's just that simple.
a lot of distraction out there, yeah. But no, that just the general conclusion is if bad people use something for evil, uh, you know, the question is, does that make the entire belief system wrong?
Yeah, let me
Right?
show you why, right? Because let's say if a bad person take the truth and corrupt it, does that make that truth wrong? Yes, it does. Because if I say, okay, it's true that we were wearing blue shirts and we was at a banquet in Turkey, and somebody say, well, we was wearing gray shirts and we was at a party in chicken. Well, you did just, it ain't the truth no more because of what you did to it. You once you change the truth, it's no longer the truth. So when a person say, well, can we just, is it no longer the
Yeah.
truth anymore because what a bad person did to it? Yeah, they turned it into a lie. So in order for us to get the truth, we got to undo what the bad person did to it.
Exactly.
That's,
So,
yeah.
can I peel the onion on the truth factor that you're talking about?
Sure, go
Because
ahead. Take
there's
the
a
mic.
lot of there's a lot of science-based truth too, right?
I'm with you. Go
So
ahead.
when if science, for example, was used for eugenics and racism, but science does that you know but science is still valid, right? Because people try to undermine scientific facts with negative outcomes, and they use science as an excuse, but they manipulate it, right? So
Undermine scientific facts with negative outcomes.
yeah,
Give an example of how that's done, real quick.
let me think about it. Uh so um so when science was used for eugenics, for example, Bill Gates Foundation. Bill
Yeah.
Gates is a huge eugenics fan, like his father was too,
Oh yeah.
right? He wants to reduce world population.
Uh-huh.
And he came out with numbers that the world population is too much. We can't feed them. We cannot provide for
Because
them. So
Bill
we have to
Gates ain't
reduce
a
it.
human. That's why he want to reduce the world
That
population.
motherfucker is Satan.
And he's just so happened to be a computer expert.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, man, I really think that it's humans and humanoids on this earth, and that most of the people in power with this anti-human agenda is because I just come to the conclusion they can't be human. If you breathe oxygen and you're human, why would you want to destroy the air, do all that? And then the answer is, well, let's turn into robots, everybody, transhuman. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But when you say people are undermining science with a negative, some negative, I think I know what you're talking about, but I wanted to hear you. Go ahead, explain it.
Yeah, so eugenics, I mean, picking up that point again, they had selective breedings of humans to improve gene pools, right? Or pseudo-scientific theories that claimed certain races were superior, or they led forced sterilizations, which we did again with the vaccines, right? And immigration restrictions and genocides, right? All these things, these were technically designed biased or a way to show racial superiority, right? And they used those scientific results, which they manipulated, to enforce their agenda, to enforce vaccines, to enforce mass destruction or spreading viruses or killing of people.
Well, I have to
Right?
say this
These
for a
things were
disclaimer, right?
science-based back then.
Yeah, so I have to say this for a disclaimer whenever you make a statement like that, just for the YouTube algorithm, everything he just said is false. We don't condone any medical advice. We don't know nothing about vaccines and what they doing. We don't know about none of that. And guess what? This is just all speculation. And far as I'm concerned, it's false. And you should consort experts when we deal with medical stuff. And that's the disclaimer I'm going to say there. Go ahead. Salutes to Rhett. And hey, welcome back, Lewis. Welcome back, bro. And
Peace, God. Peace to the panel.
Yeah. Santos. The other brother got up out of here. Yeah, man, it's been a fun one. Salutes, man. Salutes, Lewis. You already know.
Time no see.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you, bro.
You
I
all right?
appreciate the support. Oh, hell yeah, man. Appreciate
Hell
you.
yeah, anytime.
Hell yeah, bro. You on the clock now, huh? I see you. But she's
Yeah, this funky ass, y'all. Excuse my language.
Yeah, man. How many more hours you got?
Oh, I got until 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay. You kind of just get early in the shift. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't
man,
mind
can you like
working
hook me up
overnight,
with
though.
some Walmart promo codes, man?
Yeah, Walmart, Wiley
Oh,
World.
hell yeah, man. Come
Oh
on.
yeah, got them
Oh, shit,
401ks
man.
and stocks. Oh yeah.
All right, shoot me
All I
an
gotta
email.
do is show up.
Hey, I got the panel open, y'all. I'm gonna drop the link again, and this will be the last call for callers. If you join and hit the link now, and bring your
But
questions and smoke. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to challenge all Christians to their Bible, bro. Because I work with a lot of Christians, right? And every night I ask them, is heaven coming to earth or is we going to heaven? And they can't never get
Can
the
you hear me?
question right. You hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Y'all heard me? Yeah, man. They can't get that question right, man. They can't wrap that question around their head. Is we going to heaven or will heaven be established on earth? Now we all know it's gonna be established on earth. But these Christians don't believe it, man. I don't understand that. They supposed to be reading their book. And they called us non-believers. But we know they book. You feel me?
You ain't saying nothing but the truth, man. I tell Christians all the time, it's crazy. Y'all can do this too. Say, hey, you gonna go to heaven and up there in the sky? And guess what? That's a lie. The Bible never said that Christians gonna go to heaven. It say that when they die, they gonna stay in the ground until Christ resurrect the dead. And it is said Christ gonna build a kingdom on the earth, and every Christian gonna be in that earth kingdom, but ain't no Christian ever gonna ever see heaven, ever.
Yeah, basically you're gonna go to purgatory until the Lord thy God call you home and build that kingdom on earth. So
Hey, well, you guys, you do know, and I mean this respectfully, heaven isn't a place. You know, heaven isn't when they mention
State of
heaven in
mind.
the Bible, heaven isn't like a place like where they physically be. It's a translation from Hebrew, and it just means like a dwelling place of God, or like a fit like the literally the word sky. You know, it's not really like a place where they go, or you know. But we
You know why Christians ain't gonna go to heaven, right?
Brother
Because
Sanchez,
it's because the reason Christians don't go to
that's your
heaven.
question
Let me say this.
about parthenogenesis.
Let me say
What you
this.
feel about that?
Hold up.
What's
The
your
reason
perspective about
Christians,
that?
hold on, I got you. The reason Christians don't go to heaven is because Jesus ain't the most high. Jesus is a demigod. Jesus can't get you to heaven. And I know people. I know y'all think that if Jesus can get you to heaven, why would he tell you it's within you? You gotta unlock. You gotta get yourself. Every man gotta save their own soul. Jesus can't even do that for you. And that's the whole thing. Like, all Jesus can do is keep you living on earth until you get the knowledge you need to ascend to heaven, which is why Jesus keep rebuilding this earth kingdom, because Jesus is the earth God, what I call the demiurge, the reaper. And like I said, Jesus ain't really a good or bad deity. The Baphomet, if you will, Papa Lekbar, that's Jesus. That's the God that's keeping the earth realm open for souls to find their way. And that's like Morpheus offering Neo the red pill or the blue pill. Like, Jesus is creating duality for you to make a choice. And that's all it is, yeah.
It's like he discovered the matrix, leaving the matrix pill. He was just trying to teach it to everybody, you know.
Yeah. I believe, you know what I believe? With the red and blue pill is a two-faced deity, because before it was, I ain't gonna say before it was Christ. During the time this deity was being portrayed as Christ or Moloch, these different versions, the dude with the two different pills, it was also a god with two different faces, Janus, and that was the equivalent of the two pills. One was ignorance, one was knowledge. One of his faces was smart, one was dumb, sort of thing, same thing. But what I'm realizing, what this deity is, it's a archangel or a gate guard, if you will. It's a fence straddling deity. It's almost like our ancestors made these simulations for souls to discover themselves, but they also had deities to govern those simulations. And this, over each world, there's a chief executive, like a president or this high being. And my thing is, this being got 1 foot in the base reality and 1 foot in the simulation. And it's two-faced. It's like standing in the middle of the gateway to be able to allow both sides, like, because it's basically like this. If I'm standing in the middle of the doorway to hold it open, let's say I got people coming in the house, right? And I'm opening the door for them. So half of my body is in the house, half of my body outside. But it's only like that because I'm holding the door open for people. That's what this deity is.
That made me think of the laugh now, cry later. Remember that tattoo? Tell me you don't know
Yeah,
somebody right
yeah.
now with that tattoo.
That's it. That's the
Yeah.
Janus, two faces, yin yang symbol, all that. Angel and demon on each shoulder, left, right brain, all that. Sun, moon, yep. It's just this entity that's creating duality. It ain't bad or good. It's both of them. You know what I'm saying? But we like to look at it as bad because, I mean, if I come up to you and offer you love and hate, if I offer you good and bad, and you choose bad and everything go wrong, people gonna think that I'm bad, but I just gave you the choice. You could have chose good. You bad. And you chose bad and you got bad. And it ain't me being bad. I just had I had a red pill and a blue pill. You picked your poison, man. If I'm standing there with both of my hands open with good and bad, I'm not good or bad. But if you choose bad, you bad. Yeah. That's how I look at this deity, man. I used to look at the Baphomet. I used to look at this deity as bad, but now I see what's going on in this duality, this simulation. But yeah, man, salutes to the questions and to the panel and just to the bill. Somebody said, can I teach more on Enoch? It's just so simple about Enoch. He represents ascension. But if you read the book of Enoch, what I'll teach you on is why they removed the book of Enoch.
Yeah, like the actual question, though.
Yeah. Parthenogenesis, my bad. I don't believe in it. It's pseudo. Until I say it, then I can't go with it.
Everybody got here through a uterus, and everybody got a navel on their stomach.
Yeah. There's a lot of females pushing the parthenogenesis.
All right, but in that black book, they also talk about if you have faith big as a mustard seed, you granted everlasting life. What you think about that? That passage in the Bible.
I don't agree with that either, man. That's something they wrote in there to keep you on your knees and a believer and docile and a consumer. You got people saying, man, if I just get my faith strong enough versus if I just get my plan strong enough. I just need the faith of a you telling me my grandma didn't have the faith of a mustard seed? Shut your mouth. I mean, listen, if you telling me that these folks that I see flipping over pulpits and going crazy in that church shouting and screaming ain't got the faith of a mustard seed to get out they struggle, shame on you. I think they faith is bigger than a mustard seed. You ever been to church before in the hood? And they still getting broker and broker with all that faith. And I know they got more faith than a mustard seed.
That's like saying, let's stay prayed up every time something happens.
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't lying. That black church go hard. They cut up enough.
They got way more faith than that. Yeah.
Yeah, extremely. And we'll beat you up behind some Jesus. Blaspheme you to hell, boy. Hey, Sanchez, you hear me?
Correct.
I don't think
I'm liking your questions,
interpretation
man.
of faith might not be.
But because you're a Christian, right?
People don't know the definition of faith.
Who?
But I mean, that's
hey, brother. Can you hear me real quick? I think look, the definition of faith is belief in unverified thought.
I don't need that then. Hey, we don't need that then.
Right. Faith means I believe in something I can't verify.
Oh no, we don't need that. Black people got enough of that.
Yeah.
Hey, all you gotta do is go to NASA. Shit.
You know, the person that created faith is the biggest deceiver, because I'm gonna tell you what's so fucked up about it. It's like a person that's lying to you and they know they ain't got no proof and evidence, so they flip the psychology on your ass and be like, you know what? It ain't gonna be true because you don't believe it.
But you know, verification is also synchronism, right?
Listen what I'm saying, man. Listen what I'm saying. Y'all cut me off. Listen what I'm telling you, how the game that they playing on you. If somebody lying to you, they know You're going to prove them wrong once you look for verification and proof. So what the liar do to reverse the psychology is say, it's wrong for you to ask for proof. And what the liar would do is say, the reason it ain't true is because you don't believe it hard enough. When it ain't true because you're lying. And guess what? The thing that will make me prove that you lying would be for me to stop believing you and ask for proof and evidence. But you're using that against me now. You're saying if I ask for proof, that shows lack of belief, and that's why I don't see the truth. When it's the total opposite. You see the mind fuck? The truth is that if you was telling me the truth, you wouldn't ask me to believe. You would say, bro, I got receipts. I got facts. A person that's telling the truth will get mad at you if you believe them. They'll say, bro, what you mean you believe me? You think I'm lying? I just showed you evidence. Fuck belief. You know what I'm saying is true. See, but a person lying will say, please believe me, man. Why you don't believe me? You can't know that it's the truth because ain't no facts for it. So they asking you for the only thing you can give them, which is your belief. And when you don't give them that, the liar dies. He can only live with your belief. But the thing is, if he had the truth, he wouldn't even want your belief. Guess what? If he had the truth, listen, you know what's so crazy? If he had the truth, he would be saying, don't believe nothing I'm saying. Prove yourself. The person without the truth would say, man, why you don't believe me? You don't believe me? Come on, we go way back, man. Man, shame on you. You ain't got faith in me. But if a person wouldn't need all that if they was just telling the truth. In fact, like I said, they would say, don't believe me. You ain't got to believe me. I'm going to get ready to close out, though, brother Star Trek, if you don't have any more questions for me. But salutes to the panel.
So you don't see how synchronicity is synced with faith.
Say what now? I don't see how synchronicity syncs with faith. You can't speak the word synchronicity in the same sentence with faith. Because if you were syncing things together, you would be seeing the truth and you wouldn't need to have belief in something.
I said, do you see how synchronicity is synced with faith?
Synchronicity is not synced with faith, and that's crazy. What do you mean?
You don't know what synchronicity means.
Like synchronicity, if faith is believing in unverified thought, synchronicity is a process that you go to verify things. So if you practice in synchronicity, you don't need faith or belief because synchronicity going to send you to the facts and you don't got to believe those. All right, brother Star Trek, I think you exhausted your questions there. I'm going to get up out of here on this note. But I want to thank my panel, man. All of you brothers that join the panel, I say appreciate y'all for real. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Appreciate the chat room and all the donations. I got to get out of here, though.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Peace, love, and respect to everybody.
Most definitely be on the lookout for the next one. We
Go on
out.
live.
Sure. Man, I tell y'all what, we've been here 4 hours and it's been a pleasure. Make sure I ain't missing no donations. Oh yeah, that's everything. Yeah, share this, like it, and all that. Peace and much love, y'all.
Sánchez Cocinado.